is here now, which is I think just us at the moment. But anybody who appears later and decides to watch this stream, sort of a little bit impromptu, but I had something pass through my head over the last 24 hours that I thought was worth talking about. So I grabbed a few friends and we're going to have a bit of a discussion. So with me, as always, is my lovely boyfriend, partner, my rock, Godless Zoe.
I don't think people can see me on the stream. I mean, on the screen.
Why are you on the screen? What the hell happened?
Yeah, I don't see Will.
I am a disembodied voice. Hello.
Yeah, Will is a disembodied voice. So there, I thought I had this all sorted out. I turned Will off. Okay.
There's Will.
I turned him off. I'm supposed to be turning him on, but I turned him off.
No, you turned me on.
I didn't think you could turn him off.
Well, I obviously did. The lovely Will.
Hello. It's coffee o'clock.
Yeah,
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are.
It's rather late for you guys in the US. And talking people in the US, Purple, how the hell are you?
Doing okay.
Because it's late. It's really late for you, isn't it?
It's 10:30 at night here.
10:30, getting pretty late, and early. It's early, very early for Jeff.
Yes, it's just gone half. Yeah, it's just gone 4:30 in the morning where I am. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How much of the marathon did you do, Jeff?
I didn't do that much of it. I did obviously my bit, and I was on the kickoff stream. But I didn't, because I worked yesterday. I wasn't on many of the. So, but I did do my 2-hour slot. Yeah, time slot. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I caught a bit of the section that MathPig was running, but that was about all I saw of it.
Yeah, I jumped in the end of Jeff's. And at the very end, like,
literally the end of my life.
Literally the end. But Amanda sent me a link. Said, please hop in. I'm in bed. I only just got woken up by cats. But I hopped in and said hi anyway. And I did. I hopped on Navadia's and Chris's streams. Because Mara was a bit worried she wasn't going to have anybody to start off with.
Oh, I didn't realize she was that worried about it.
Well, when she first messaged in panic, it was like just her, not just. She's like, just have me and not just me and not just. Okay, I'll hop in.
If I knew she was having a problem, I could have, but I was trying to get myself to sleep before she started.
No, she ended up with a heap of people anyway, so she was fine. But she was a bit worried about it. And Chris had asked me the night before because he wanted to do it as a 6-pack, and I was the only one who was actually available. To do it with him, so that's fine. But
yeah, you're the only one of the Australians that I get to interact with much.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah,
I have more daytime available to me than most of them.
That was first 6-pack I remember in a while. That there was quite a lot of Aussies on the actual panel.
And last night, yes. Yeah, we actually, for the first time since Sam stopped being a regular, the Aussies actually outnumbered everyone else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool. They're very cool, actually. And will probably happen again, because I think Sam might come back occasionally now as well. And Matt wants to hop in occasionally, so we'll have a few more Aussies on, which should be good. Because I thought that was the whole thing of 6-pack, was we had Aussies on.
That's how it was back in the day.
It was.
6-pack is at absolutely the worst time for me because you're starting just as the sun's coming up here.
It's not a good time for a lot
Yeah,
of
and
people.
I do not do mornings.
I do.
I attempt. I glide through mornings. What are those things called in Harry Potter? Those weird things that didn't walk?
The Dementors?
Yes. That's how I wake up. I float over to the coffee pot.
Weird things that didn't walk and sucked your soul out.
All my life I've told people that I will either be awake or out of bed before 10 a.m., but you can't expect both on the same day.
Exactly.
Actually, if we're going
If
to
you
talk about
want me to get up
dementias-
at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm in zombie mode.
I have breathing problems, so it takes me a while to come back to life, says the guy who's about to smoke a J. So it takes me a minute to come back to life when I wake up in the morning. Have to get the circulation going.
Well,
in
my
terms of
fiance
the-
had bad asthma, and that was, it was like a race every morning to get the coffee going and get everything she needed to get started.
Coffee is a miracle drug for people who have asthma. It'll get your lungs going at
The
least.
caffeine helps. Yeah, if she
Yeah.
was having a bad asthma attack, sometimes she could break it with chugging a couple of Red Bulls.
Oh yeah,
Oh wow!
yeah,
You
because
really
you're
shouldn't chug a couple of Red Bulls. I get.
Well,
they can
no, that
break
wasn't
your
good
asthma
for her
attack,
heart, but
No.
that seems to be kind of the thing, that if you could put the circulation system into overdrive, it helps gain the breathing going faster.
exactly. But that's why asthmatics have heart attacks. Like if I don't have an enlarged heart, I'll be surprised
Yeah.
for all the medicine I've taken in my life.
Play a musical instrument. One that you have to blow into, like a trumpet, trombone, even people who play recorders and saxophones and things like that. It actually increases your lung capacity playing a musical instrument and helps combat.
Bagpipes is the way to go.
Sorry, bagpipes. Yeah.
Bagpipes, yeah.
I own bagpipes. It's a good way to make enemies of your neighbors.
Especially if you can't play them.
So Isaiah, bagpipes are really personal. And my son ripped the plastic lining off of my bagpipe. So like the plastic lining is like your spit guard, because there's a lining and then there's the bladder, and the lining goes around because the bladder leaks your spit and stuff, because bagpipes are a really personal instrument.
Yeah.
So I have to fix my bagpipe because my kid got bored and curious one day.
No, yeah. You've got no idea how many people get freaked out when they see people who play brass instruments, and every now and then you're blowing blowing spit out of your instrument because your instrument fills up with your spit. It's one of those things. Any instrument you blow into gets filled with your spit.
Do you know what's gross too? Is Jeff, in the UK, do you guys have mascots in suits like we do in the US?
Like mascots is
Like somebody in a
like
in
professional furries.
Yeah.
yeah.
We have mascots for everything, for college, for minor league baseball. There's people that Perp, you said it the best. They are professional furries.
Well,
Japan's very big on them. Japan, it's like every city has an official mascot like that.
There's something that's not well known that
it's sort of, but it's not as big of a thing here. I mean, usually with the mascots in, say, soccer or whatever, what it usually is a young kid who's decked out in the kit of the team, who acts the mascot. So.
Jeff actually said soccer and not football.
Thank you, because I speak American English, and I'm being serious when I say that.
I just have to, I have to say that for Americans' benefit.
The reason I brought that up is because it's like an unknown. Well, it's one of those weird things. Mascots will have they have to get pumps to pump all the water and all the sweat out of their suits because those suits do not breathe. Or some will literally have spigots at the bottom of their things. Like they do all these weird engineering things because people will sweat half a pound of water out.
Yeah, a lot of them will have a vent in the back of the head that they'll actually have battery-powered fans in them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I have to say something that will probably please Jeff no end. I find it I find it incredibly arrogant of sports like Australian rules and rugby and gridiron to call themselves football when the majority of the game does not involve kicking anything.
I'm going to surprise you here. I'm actually going to disagree with you. The thing is that the actually the kind of sort of etymology of football was mainly meant as a game played on the foot rather than and a lot of these things all
Rather than
developed at the
kicking.
similar time. Yeah, a lot of these things all sort of developed at the similar sort of times in around the world. I think obviously soccer or association football
Yeah.
sort of was
How do you get
developed
soccer
and
from association football?
I don't quite know when exactly that became the sort of. I've got a feeling actually it was quite a common term in Britain for football at one
Yeah,
time,
I
but then
get
it sort of becomes
association
with
football,
America.
but I don't see how
Yeah.
soccer becomes the derivative name from association football.
Yeah,
A-foot
But-
would make more sense. Hey, let's play a game about A-foot.
I mean there was loads.
What
like,
did you call it?
in-
I'm sorry, I have to click back. What did you call it?
A-foot. Association
A-foot.
football. A-foot.
Actually,
mean,
when you explain it that way, then American football makes a lot more sense because it
Yeah.
is primarily a game of running.
Yeah.
Then our game should be
Yeah.
called Running Ball.
Yeah. See, it would make more sense in my
You,
mind to call gridiron, rugby, and Aussie rules tackle ball because that's about tackling. Although all
So-
those four sports are
You-
about tackling.
If you guys want to see something interesting, you should, I think it's in this Italian city of Florence. They still play this game like a couple of times a year. There's a game called Calcio Storico, which is a football, and let's just be honest. This makes American football, rugby, and anything look like absolute look. Just they make those. It just makes it look like
Pansies?
look like put. Yeah, this is just. I think the rule is you got to get the ball in the goal, and that is literally the only rule. It's more of a hybrid between football and mixed martial arts.
Oh
Okay,
wow!
just
So they beat
I
the
agree
shit out of
with
each
you.
other and don't worry about the ball too much.
I
Yeah.
agree with you, and I know what you're talking about, but the players from the 50s, 60s, and 70s didn't have the equipment of the people now. So that generation are like in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
So the original football, what we consider the original NFL generation, they either died young or weren't able to walk by the time they were 70.
Mm.
So in the new age guys, they have space age helmets. Their pads are like shock absorbers. They have these, all their stuff is state of the art. Even soccer cleats are state of the art now.
I mean, he obviously with the and a lot of was discovered about CTE and whatever because that became a big thing, obviously. And because
I know
obviously the amount of ex-American football players who had long-term brain damage or whatever
my sister married somebody who played for the Los Angeles Raiders, and I witnessed him. Well, yeah, and then when they went back to Oakland, he moved over there. But I witnessed him go mentally insane, and they're now divorced. And he's, I want to say, I don't know, 51, 52. He lives like a rapper, smokes the best weed in the world, and ignores his kids. He literally, something happened, and he went mentally insane. And they're blaming it on CTE.
Really?
So what was it we were going to talk about?
What was it we were going to talk about? Okay, during...
And we do have somebody watching now. Oh, it's Ox.
Hey, Ox, how are you?
Well, it says there's 6 people watching and there's only 4 of us. So with Ox, that still means one more person is hiding out there.
Unless
well, I'm on my, and I'm on my phone, so that means I haven't got it going. I haven't got it going running in the background. So,
and I'm not double dipping as usual.
Okay, so people are willing to watch us, but they're not willing to admit it.
Yeah.
I was a lurker for a long time. Babylon 5 style.
All right, well, shall we get to the actual topic at hand? Because I think we've done that.
Yes.
Oh,
B.
B, how are you? Okay, B can join us later. I'm sure she'd love to contribute. The link is actually in the group, so if anyone wants to hop in, feel free.
Oh, I forgot to send a link to B. I will take
B's
care
in
of
the
it.
group. She can get the link. I sent the link to the group.
I only saw the link go out in the one group there.
Yeah, I only put the link in the
So,
one group.
okay.
Actually, I should have put it in your group as well, Perps, but I didn't think about it.
Well, usually you send out to a couple, so I thought it was
do.
odd
Well,
that
no,
only
I
went to
sent
one
I
today.
sent the link for the show, but I only sent the link for StreamYards in our group.
Yep.
So
Anybody put the link in?
I'm really
Nick.
quiet. This is Navadia's fault yesterday because she complained that I was too loud, and so she made me turn my mic down.
You mean?
Oh,
You
I
mean?
think you're fine.
Hold on. As it's Navardia, you mean she complained.
Um,
I think you got it right now. I think we're all about the
yeah,
same volume.
if I get close to the mic, I'll be fine anyway. So yeah, well, what I want to talk about is during Amanda's fundraiser, there's something that that I've noticed that I do and other people do, and it's been done in other fundraisers, in my own fundraiser, when I've been part of other people's fundraisers, and that's we praise our community for what they give to us, and that's great. That's great. But praising our community for the efforts that the community puts in to help those within the community is wonderful. And then we say things like, we are the best community. No other community would is like our community. And I was lying awake actually thinking about this. Like, is this really true? I mean, I've been part of Christian communities where that close-knit community will go out of their way to help one of theirs in need. And is this any different? We have one of ours in need. We give of ourselves. We do stuff for that person. We dig into our pockets. We give them money if they need it. Are we any different? Are we just a close-knit group that want to help each other? Or is there something special? Is there something better about being part of the secular community? Are we better, or do we just think we're better? In that sense, are we no better than some Christian groups who think they're better than everybody else?
Okay. Did you hear a bunch of people saying that, or just one person?
Oh no, I heard lots of people say it, and I know I've said it myself. So
Okay, I've got a
so,
I've got a
Sorry.
I've got a take on this. Now I think you got to bear in mind a lot of people in our secular community have probably come out of religion and maybe religious communities and not necessarily had the best experiences with it. With those communities, in a lot of senses, that's probably why you think this community is so great. And nothing wrong, this community is great, but I do think it is a very human thing to do to help one of your own that is in need, and it's for all the faults we have as a species. This is one of our better qualities.
Altruistic.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's important.
Most of us are altruistic. I won't say everybody is. There are people who are not.
Most people are very altruistic to those they identify as being in the same tribe.
Exactly what I was gonna say. Because I'm gonna tell you, like, I walked in this community talking about dicks and saying how bi I was, and it really intimidated a lot of people. So there's a lot of people that don't like me because I came talking about my sexuality, you know? And so it depends on who you are, what you're willing to put up with, and how much you're willing to put up with, you know, because not everybody is as welcoming. I think it depends on the person, because as somebody who's a habitual outsider, I think if there's more than 5 people standing together, that's a cult.
Well,
that's a tad extreme. So
I know.
We're one off a cult in this stream.
I'm just saying that to play devil's advocate. That's all.
If we're counting, if we count the chat as well, I think that counts.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if B jumps in here, we become a cult.
Yeah. No, but the whole communal aspect, it's on one sense, like 2 years ago, I was going through a lot of stuff in my life.
Yeah.
I leaned heavy on the community. And if it wasn't for you guys, like, I'd probably been a loony bin or something, you know? So that's a good thing. And all I did was just lurk and watch, you know? I would just watch freaking YouTube, but it helped me out, you know? So from that aspect, like, that's what we're here for. You know,
Well, for the last
Yeah.
couple of years, I was stuck in Michigan. I've said that this community is what kept me sane. It was the
absolutely.
only place I could find an intelligent conversation for 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously, this, should we say, lack of a better word, should we say, online community that we've got, has certainly over the past year become way more important to a lot of us, because we've not been able to sort of go out and mix with a lot of our, so we say, real life communities, for lack of a better word,
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
as well. So this has become a lot more. This has become way more important to a lot of us.
To a lot of people, this has become home. This has become where you go to be with your family, almost. Like
Yeah.
the communities, especially the close knit, especially our little segment of it. That those of us who do hang out together and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's
little
what I was going to
segment
say.
has definitely become like a little family.
I was going to say with what Will was saying earlier, that even with our online community, there are kind of 4 or 5 subgroups within it, and I think that's kind of what's the thing with our subgroup is that we talk very openly about sex, and I think that's kind of what's pushed some of the other groups, push us off to the side a little bit, because there's some of them that aren't that comfortable with us being so open about it.
And I have to remember too, it's a cultural thing. Like I come from a very Catholic background. Catholics are lit. Like we were smoking cigarettes, like having fun. I didn't come from that evangelical background where people had such rigid rules.
We're a cult. It's official.
It's a cult. And
I
our
I heard
leader
you
is
guys
just
talking. I
arrived.
was like trying to eat my pizza real quick, so I was in the background going, "Oh, we'll be cultish today."
It's a cult. Now our leader's arrived. It's
Yeah. So, B, you were there for a lot of Amanda's stream.
Nope.
Like me, did you hear it said a lot that with our community so good, it's better, and it.
I heard people talking about what I said personally, just to clear this up, because I did say something similar to that. What I said was,
obviously.
well, yeah, I just didn't want everybody to think, oh, B said something like that. No, what I said was that the community really came together, and that it's the best community that I've ever been a part of. Overall. Doesn't discount what everybody else is doing. I'm just my experience. I've been around a lot of assholes. They make it really easy and make you guys look really good.
Which does go back to what people have been already saying. What we'd already been saying with a lot of us have come from. Not me personally. See, this is the thing. But a lot of us have come from communities which probably weren't as close-knit, weren't as well attuned to looking out for each other, and you come into this and you say, oh my god, this is brilliant. Why isn't everyone else like this? Well, but from my perspective, I came from a religious background where people did go out of their way to help people. And it's an experience I've had throughout my life that people were charitable and people helped each other. My mum was a Samaritan befriender. So she did phone support for people, helped talk people out of suicide and things like that. She told me after a transition that there were times when she'd actually taught trans people into not committing suicide and getting help for, and that's coming from a Christian, because Mum was never against people for the things that
what you will hear quite a lot. Sorry. What you will hear quite a lot, especially from people who have left the church, but even from a lot of people who are still in the church, is that even if they don't really feel anything spiritual, they stay with it for the sense of community.
Absolutely.
And that's, I know for me, that was certainly the case too, of why I stayed with it as long as I did.
So I used to watch a show called The Big Questions. It was in the UK. And
yeah, I'm aware of that show.
Quite a few times they would bring on people who were still in the Church of England who identified as atheists, who were priests or whatever you call it, vicars or whatever you guys call it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
Yeah, well, we've often had there's often been a lot of jokes about the Church of England. You know, first qualification you need to be a vicar is not to believe in God. You know, I mean, which isn't exactly, it's not true, of course, but it was all, it's always been a bit of a long-standing joke.
There was a I remember years ago with the Yes Prime Minister, which I'm sure you all remember, where there was
I know where you're going with.
I used to watch that.
Yeah, there was an episode where they were where Jim Hacker had to appoint a new bishop because apparently that's the Prime Minister's purview. So they offered him all these options, trying to get a particular person picked. And one of the options they offered him was the dean of a university who was supposedly a Christian dean who was more Islamic than Christian. And that is the person who was appointed as bishop.
Well, what's the thing they said? What's the line? It says the ideal archbishop is a cross between a socialite and a socialist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but he's not for God. Yes, but he's not against him either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, isn't there a passage in the New Testament that Jesus says, "Whoever is not against us is for us"?
Yeah.
Talk about
actually purple. That doesn't sound like it.
No, there was a passage there that a couple of his disciples came and said that there had been some men preaching and they got them to stop. And Jesus had said that, if they're not against us, they're for us.
Right.
No, I remember that, Purple. You're absolutely correct.
Yes. And yet there is also the other passage which says those who are not for me are against me. Yeah. So it goes both ways in the Bible. So
you can use the Bible to pretty much argue both sides of any question.
But
why? Because of the contradictions? Sorry.
So
go ahead.
The one thing that I found shocking lately, though, to completely change the subject, is how many people in my own life are evangelical.
Never does this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Or evangelical, or some kind of people are so polite to me. I'm obnoxiously an atheist. If you ask me, I will tell you the truth. And I was shockingly surprised to find out how many people have really hardcore beliefs around me. And, they're extremely liberal. I walk around smoking J's when I go on walks with my kid. No one says a word to me. They say hi. I gave my neighbor some seeds. No, my neighbor.
You're not in New York City.
My neighbor was like, "Oh, I peeked over the fence. You have a pot plant?" I'm like, Here are some seeds. You're now an accomplice. Grow pot.
Well, I mean, it's obviously the UK. Evangelicalism is a very, very tiny sort of thing in the UK. It does exist, but it is relatively tiny. Although not far from me, there's a church that sort of borders on that a bit.
I think we have more of it here than you do over there. Evangelicals, I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, even in the little town I'm in, there's an evangelical church. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is a thing here, but it's a very small thing. It's not, But I mean, last time I really, I could, which last time I can sort of remember actually sort of, talking to someone who was a bit of an evangelical, is a sort of just local. She's just sort of a local in in my area, in my local pub, but I was sort of trying to be real polite, even though she brought the religion thing up, and I was kind of like, yeah, this isn't the best thing to do in the pub. But she noticed that I was wearing my Baphomet pendant, right? Okay, so that is suddenly it's like, oh my word, and then I just said the conversation sort of, should we say, ended rather friendly, but she sort of just said, look, is it okay if I pray for you? And I'm just like, I mean, a part of me wanted to say, fuck off, but I thought, no, you've been polite or whatever. So I just sort of said, yeah, go ahead and whatever, you know. What I thought by pray for me meant she's going to go home that night and like put her hands together before and say something, you know. What I wasn't expecting is what happened next. She just basically kind of grabbed me by the head and whatever and like pulled me in and like, and I thought, hold on, what the fuck is going on here? And then it's like, hold on, this isn't a prayer, this is a fucking exorcism here.
I've had that happen. That's why I'm
I was just waiting for her. I was just waiting for her to like sort of start shouting, "The power of Christ compels you." You know.
See, that's why I have attack eyebrows. I just give them that look, like, "Do not touch me."
Yeah. But
I have issues with people touching people they don't know.
As warped as it was, though, it was actually coming from a good place. It was the intent was good. It was messed up.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. Don't touch people you don't know.
Why would you want to anyway?
My I call her my adopted sister, but she she's a bit of an evangelical, and she's come and stayed with me a few times when I was in Perth, and before she'd leave, she'd always go, "Will you pray with me before I drive home?"
That's so awkward.
Can we just like skip that part of our friendship and like just like move on from that? Thanks.
Sometimes I'm a bit snarky if somebody says something like that. Will you pray with me? And I'm like, I said, I'll pray with you, but it may not be to your God. Just to let you know
spaghetti monster.
It might be, yeah. It might be. Bear in mind that I used to be a pagan, and I just say, yeah, I'll pray with you, but the likelihood is I'm going to be sending a prayer to Odin and not Yahweh. Okay, or Jesus. So
see, then you have to have that ground rules conversation. When you mean praying, how do you mean that?
Yeah, I was
like
just
worshiping
back on that.
Or praying.
My comment, I think, would be you can pray for me, but not on me.
So I do this while everyone's praying. I just look up, and it's usually the two heathens, my son and myself, and I just tell them to be respectfully quiet. And I just look at everybody to see who's really praying. Like, are you really?
I do it
praying?
too. I always like sit there and I kind of
go. Yep. I started like, you really have your head down for this, especially the people I know that believe in nothing. Because there's quite a few people in my family that I know that they only believe in themselves. They're too narcissistic to even look beyond themselves. And I'm like, yeah,
that's just habit at that point. You just go along with it because you're like at mom and dad's, and
exactly.
You know, it's what you're supposed to do.
You know, and another thing, I look at it like in moments like that, I only have to do it a certain time of year. So from like November until like around Christmas-ish, I'll have to sit at like 4 or 5 dinners where people are praying, and that's okay. Yeah. I can be respectful for those 4 or 5 times. You know, I couldn't do it every day. I would call someone out.
I mean, I don't care if they want to pray. I can respect that, and I'll wait. Yeah. Don't expect me to join you.
Exactly.
That's all. I'm not gonna do it.
I see. I don't mind. I've got family who will say grace. And you know who want to say a prayer. The friend I mentioned earlier, she likes to do devotions before dinner, and you know, staying in the house, and she go, yeah, you can go and do a devotion. That's perfectly fine. I'm not joining you. And like my eldest daughter is quite religious, and whenever she comes and stays, I will take her to church if she wants to go. I'll even sit through it with her, but she knows it's pointless on me. I even had one of the churches I took her to in Perth came over and greeted us because I'd never taken her to that one before. She liked to go to different ones that she'd never been to. So, and they came over and they were talking to us, and she was talking about this, and then they turned to me and I go, and what about you? And I go, I'm an atheist. And they go, well, you're a challenge then.
Wow, go stuff yourself. Go stuff yourself.
Yeah,
bitch, I'm a challenge to the whole world.
I'm thinking the most appropriate response if somebody asks if they can pray for you would be to say that you can pray for me, but don't expect me to participate.
Yeah.
I think that's
Because I've been in a similar thing to what Jeff was saying. That's like, they said, can we pray for you? And I just kind of shrugged, and it's like, yeah, do your thing. And yeah, and then they grab me and they expect me to kneel down with them. It's like, no, that's not what you asked about.
No, you didn't say with.
You said 4.
4. Sure,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'll watch
The
it.
other option is to go, sure. Can you wait till after I've left?
and people also could be really presumptuous, because I used to get that a lot. And
Great.
in my early 20s, I was like 150 pounds dripping wet. People thought I was on drugs. I was just skinny as hell with some great fitting jeans on and a washboard stomach, But they'd be like, can I pray for you? I'd be like, I'm not on drugs. Get the F away from me. I like eating at McDonald's too. Get out of here. It's crazy. It's crazy.
No,
What
I
about
was
when
like
the
that for-
Christians do their greetings, like they go, peace be with you. See, I don't mind that one because it's just peace, and peace is fine. You can wish peace on me all you like.
Yeah,
When
but
you say
people
God-
attach it to the church.
Yeah,
But
but
I've had
then
people-
if people go, God be with you, I don't go, not likely.
Or like I
Right.
learned this from the older generation. I dress like a hobo, even though I can afford to put gas in my car and pay my own bills. Okay, people will walk up to me and be like, "Hey, do you need help or anything?" And I'm like, "Bitch, I got a better job than you do, mofo. Like, I just look like shit. That's all."
See, I'm just saying that. I mean, generally, I've got to say that phrase "peace be on you," but that's something I tend to associate more with Muslims. That particular saying. But I think they tend to say it is "peace be unto you."
In America, we don't have as many Muslims as you like do in the UK, and like here in California, most people that are Muslim, I'm going to say something semi-controversial, are so rich you don't see them. Like I have quite a few friends that I was like, "You're Muslim?" And they're like, "Yeah, I've been my whole life." And we're
Yeah, I
old,
mean,
and I never knew
obviously-
they were. Like it never came up.
I mean, obviously, the thing is, it's been, it's been probably a bit difficult to be a Muslim in the UK over the last 20 years or so,
Yeah.
and probably
Anywhere.
even more so in the US. But it's because there wasn't. I mean, there was always been like undercurrents of racism in the UK and so on, but obviously, 9/11 happens and whatever, and
there's a famous New Yorker cover of a New York cab driver, and he was a Muslim man, and he put 1 million American flags on his car because he didn't want to get beat up.
Well,
It was a famous
this
cover.
is, and we could probably do that. We can probably fall into the same trap with Christians as well, as thinking that they're all the same. But Muslims, there's lots of different tides and currents within Islam as well, and it's not.
I'm going to say something else controversial. Some of the most peaceful and kind people I've known have been Muslims. So the most welcoming, and I've reached out to Muslim organizations, and they help the homeless of LA. Like they'll feed people. They come deep too.
Well, I
not all
think
bad.
that the Muslims that you're going to find, in the US or the UK or, probably Australia and that, are generally the ones who left whatever country they came from because they thought the government was too fanatical about it.
I used to do computer server and laptop repairs for Pioneer, and one of their clients phoned up with an issue, and they sent me there. And when I got there, it was a Muslim thing. It was some sort of offices for the church. It wasn't in the church; it was in the offices, but it was offices. And they wouldn't let me in. They said, "No, you'll have to go. You'll have to send one of the guys."
Yep.
Women can't do this.
Yeah.
The problem they had,
I
was the only tech that they had in Perth at the time.
Yeah.
So when they phoned up over East, the company just said, "Look, you either have Jen go and fix it, or it doesn't get fixed." So they ended up pulling it all apart and bringing it into the office so I could repair
Oh, I'm
it.
not
And
saying
coming
it.
back and picking it up
I
and plugging
mean,
it in because I
and
was
it's
Isn't
not-
that
allowed property.
ridiculous?
It is
And it's-
fucking
and it's-
ridiculous.
I'm
And
not
it's
saying
not
it's
to
all
say that
rainbows
there are
and
not-
blowjobs, you know. I'm
Yeah,
just
I mean,
saying it's a little bit more peaceful here.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
it's
it
like I
wasn't, it
said.
wasn't
I mean,
aggressive or anything. It was just stupid.
Rainbows and blowjobs?
I heard that from
But
a legend in
Why
Florida.
you gonna
like
ruin a
20 years.
rainbow like that? Damn.
No, I heard from a legend. This person I knew one time, they looked at me and they're like, life's not all rainbows and blowjobs, get over it. And in my mind, I was like, I'm writing that shit down. That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Change
just
it up
tell
to the next
people I'm-
level.
That. I'm gonna use that, okay? Thanks.
Change it up, B. Change it to rainbows and clitty licks.
No, I always say hugs and handshakes. When I'm talking to my son,
Tell
I always
me
say,
more.
Life's not hugs and handshakes.
Oh, we could make it a non-gender thing. Just make it rainbows and orgasms.
Life isn't rainbows. and
Touche,
rainbows.
purple.
Right in that
well
soul.
done, Babs.
Sold. I'm writing that one.
But you're still going to offend the asexuals.
That's
Well,
gonna be my next pack.
even there, it depends on the group because
Some of them
some
like
asexuals are okay with masturbation.
And some of them love an orgasm. I mean, just listen to Sam.
Okay, so I have a
Who
question.
doesn't love a good orgasm?
I have a question because I'm old and Twitter teaches me stuff. What is gray sexual?
People who like people of the older persuasion.
Yeah, gray sexual are asexuals who sometimes have some sexual desires, but it's rare.
Oh, I thought I got to dress up like Gandalf and do it. I'm down.
I thought maybe it was me going after old people. Like 20-year-olds trying to fuck grandpa or some shit.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
I saw something on Twitter last night, and I was like, I was laying in bed, and I'm like, I've exceeded my. I have no idea what this is. I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. I'm old.
I've exceeded my social media for the day.
So
someone-
we spent the last little while hamming on Christians for throwing prejudice when we don't want it. Does that make us any better though? Because I know we wouldn't throw praise at people, but in the same condemnation that we give them, isn't that similar to the condemnation that is given back to us by some of them? Not all of them. There are definitely... I mean, if you take an extremist in any group, they're assholes, right? So an extremist is always an asshole. But how are we any better?
No, we're not. To quote,
We're
because
not.
I'm
We're
involved
not,
in the because I'm involved in the LA LGBTQIA plus scene. There's something that we always say: gay people are rotten. Because we'll harp on another sect, and then we'll say, "Wait a minute, we're worse. We're worse to each other than society is." You know,
That
when
also
you
comes-
get in a group, when you get a majority of anything, that's when infighting starts. I worked at a factory in good old Stockton, California. It was all men. It was the cattiest job I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was the whiniest, cattiest baby.
Dude, I know. I've spent most of my life working with men. I know all about it.
I'd
Let
had
me tell you something. I work around all women right now, and I'm the only one that bitches, and it's just randomly.
I mean,
Nobody
we are-
bitches.
yeah.
We just
I-
help each
I mean,
other.
I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, when you look at what I see online at times, yeah, I mean, we can be pretty damn condescending to people to religious. I mean, I started even in the past few weeks, I started to see this crap going around of like people saying, religion is a mental illness. That crap going around again, which I really wish people people really need to fucking shut up about stuff like that. Like,
So
it's
again, when I was at my worst in my life, there were Christian people who helped me, who went out of their way to help me with my mental health, with like my physical rehab. When I got in my car crash, it was through a Christian organization. They helped me walk again. They didn't care. I said I'm an atheist. They didn't care. They were just doing their job.
And I heard
I mean,
a very good point made on the other side of that about calling religion a mental illness actually increases the stigma on people who do have mental disabilities.
yes. I get sometimes when you hear that sort of stuff, when you, should we say, got people who are, should we say, going through the angry atheist phase, which is, is a thing.
No, I did.
Definitely.
But it is. But sometimes I've still seen that from people who really ought to know better, and it's one of those little things I really, and and I'm going to just say this shouldn't even need saying. Look, just because you don't believe in a God does not make you a great blooming critical thinker, okay?
Oh, no, it certainly does not. But I'm going to go back to something Will said about the LGBTQ plus community and say what we think, because our little section of the secular community is incredibly accepting of people. And as Purple said earlier, there's other bits of the community that don't like us because we'll talk about sexuality. We'll be open and honest about shit. And they're like, no, you can't be like that. But if you look at the broader secular community, they're just as anti-trans and anti-LGBT as the fucking everywhere else. The shit show that happened on the atheist community of Austin's Facebook chat groups after the Rationality Rules crackdown was absolutely horrendous. The hate directly directed at trans people within those chats was some of the worst I have ever fucking seen, and I've seen some horrible stuff. And that's from within the secular community. That just wasn't other
and
people.
To be honest, this is
regulars.
To be honest as well, this is why I do not tend to be involved myself with any of the ACA's stuff, because I know there's a lot. I know in a lot of those groups, there's a lot of real crap that takes place in those groups. But especially I've been in a few. I mean, there was one Facebook group, and I will say this has nothing to do with the ACA, but I got sort of added. I got added to this one by someone. It was just sort of like atheists and critical thinkers group, and I went. And it was in there, and all it was really insulting, disgusting memes about religion that weren't even funny. I mean, we've all sort of like shared a meme or whatever that's a bit funny and has a bit of a poke, but this was just insulting, and it was not. And it was such goddamn cult groupthink or whatever, and and you try to put an opinion in there that is sort of deviates from, the orthodoxy. I mean, it's like we've got to recognize like cult-like behavior in our community at times.
Did you say hi to Nikki yet? Hi. Sorry.
I was waiting for Jeff to finish.
I was going to be sitting here and just being quiet.
Sorry, Jeff.
I tried to slide one in quickly.
Hi, Nikki. It's been a while.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Nikki. How are you, my lovely?
I'm in my new place.
Oh,
awesome.
I am no longer in fucking temporary housing.
Lovely.
Yay.
And I have internet that fucking actually is decent.
So we're going to see more of you now, Nikki?
Well, I've been on AT2's channel like all the time, so well, whenever he's doing it. But as far as seeing me a lot, I'm restricting what areas I'm going to on YouTube now because of the bullshit that's been going on recently. So
that leads into what I was gonna say. Sorry, Jeff, for take 2 seconds. I've actually experienced more homophobia online than in real life because it's been so long. Because I came out 20-something years ago, I forgot what it was for people to hate you for who you are, because I just am who I am. And then I came online and had to re-explain myself, and it's interesting. People literally hate me because I say I'm bi.
Well, I know I mostly am sticking to our subgroup here, as it were, but I'm surprised that I have not gotten more backlash coming out as trans.
Yeah,
I
was kind of prepared for it, and I didn't see very much of it at all.
Well, for me, in the group of people, the myriad of groups of people I follow, it's not been an issue for the most part. I used to be fairly active on Facebook, and still sort of am. Not enough to really justify anything, but there's a couple transgender groups I was a part of, and I have seen probably some of the most vitriol bullshit that I have ever seen from those groups.
Oh, trans people to other trans people, especially when you get people who are
Gatekeepers?
and gatekeepers and things like that.
It's worse, Jenny.
People.
It's worse. I'm a U.S. veteran. That also makes me
Oh, you're a
a
target.
war criminal and a racist.
Fuck off with that.
No, it doesn't.
Well, and that was another component to me, not being out as trans for so long, was that even in the LGBT community, I had run into enough of the gatekeepers that I didn't tick enough of the boxes to qualify as trans.
I was going to say to Nick. I was going to say to Nikki, because I was listening when you were on Steve's channel the other day, and you talked a bit about some of this vitriol you got for being like a vet, and I was going nuts in the chat that people would say that to someone. It is the most ridiculous. It is the most ridiculous thing. I just see. I've been on like I've been on like anti-war demos and that in the past, but I hate it when people, any of them, start actually bashing service people. It's just it's just...
Well, here's my thing on that, and this kind of harks back to what I was saying on Steve's channel. It's not that there are a few exceptions to this, but in general, it's not the service members that's at fault. They're doing their job. What happens in any other job when you don't do your job? You get fired. But in the military, it's worse. It means if you get fired from the military, guess what? You don't get a job at all unless you are really scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel, or you're doing under the table jobs.
And getting fired for the military could even end up being that you don't get a job because you're in fucking
You know,
prison.
my pops used to always say that in the Navy,
Been
after they sunk a ship, they would turn around and pick up all the survivors.
Yep.
Absolutely. Because they were fighting the ship. He would always say they were fighting the ship, not the people.
Yep. To be fair, though, can't quite do that on the ship I was on. So.
He was on the Bennington. It was a different time. It was
well, I was on a nuclear submarine, so we don't have the room. And usually, if we fired up on a ship, it was because they fired on us.
Yeah.
But usually, no. We were tasked with Tomahawk deployment too, so. And I was the one that was trained to both fire torpedoes and Tomahawks. And the torpedo, you roughly know where it's going to go and what it's going to hit. A Tomahawk, you're told, hey, you need to send this Tomahawk to these coordinates.
Yep.
No fucking clue where the fucking is unless you have a massive understanding of geography, and you don't know what target it's going to hit. And it could be accidentally civilians, and oh my god, all of a sudden you're a fucking war criminal. Let's say, okay, yeah, the U.S. is not clean on its plate on that, but there are countries currently that are way worse and done way worse than what we have ever done. The worst thing that the United States truly has ever done was drop nukes on Japan.
Yeah.
There are countries. Japan during World War II was raping and pillaging China.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I made the comment in Steve's chat the other day when I was hearing this, what had been said to you. He said, look, my analogy was, look, there was a reason why there was only like 22 or 24 people put on trial at Nuremberg. Okay, these were the people. You didn't put the entire blimmin' German military of World War II on trial because they were not all war criminals. So, obviously, you wanted, there was a reason that they prosecuted the ones who really did order this shit.
But one of the greatest documentaries I ever watched about how the Brits invented what we consider a wiretap, or like a listening devices in general. There were a lot of people in Germany who were complicit because the Brits have tapes of it, of them saying they knew exactly what was going on. Not necessarily to the extent, but I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, you couldn't do something on such a massive scale without people knowing what's going on and being complicit." 100%.
Yeah, but I think the main point was that you're not going after the soldiers; you're going after the people who made the decisions.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, there
But
was
World War
a thing in
II
Germany, though, if you were a soldier who was ordered to do something and you didn't do it, you ended up on the other side of the wire.
I'm a Nazi puncher, so I like to always re-emphasize World War II. That's all.
Well, and that was a common thing in many wars that, the soldiers who didn't follow orders risked being shot by the guy standing next to them.
Yep.
Yep. But
They have all rights to do that.
I
Sign up
mean,
for the military and they own you.
yep,
Kitty.
they do. Hey, Kitty.
Hey!
Hi, Kitty.
Hey, kitty.
Hey, Kitty.
I'm gonna pop in. Not sure how it'll go since I'm on my phone, but we'll see. But I'm working on a bag for my mom for Mother's Day. So here's one of the straps, and this is going to be the outer pockets because it's going to have 2 elastic pockets on the outside and then a zipper pocket in the front and then a little zipper like panel for closing it off so stuff doesn't tip out of it. So it'll have 3 pockets, 2 elastic ones for like a water bottle or a cell phone and then 1 zipper one. And I figure it'll be good for her. She does a lot of needlepoint like cross stitch. So when she's got to take my cousin to dance or pick her up from school and is waiting, she can just toss it all in the bag and bring it with her and do it and keep it all together. So that's what I'm working on. I was playing Floor Troll and I was on my floor hunched over cutting out all of these pieces.
Floor Troll?
And yes.
That
quote,
sounds like a new sex position to me.
No, it sounds like a house
Rachel
mouse.
Max. Okay, so it goes to one of my favorite YouTubers, Rachel Maxey. She is a cosplayer and costumer, and she basically she doesn't have a table big enough. So when she's cutting out patterns, she's doing it on the floor, and she'll literally say, "I didn't choose Floor Troll Life. Floor Troll Life chose me," as she's like hunched over cutting out all of her pattern pieces, and her dog Frodo will constantly be running over and tearing up pieces as he goes. But yeah, so it's also gonna have this lovely like lavender purple for the lining, because it's gonna be a lined bag, and purple is my mom's favorite color, but she also likes flowers. So actually here, let me grab the big piece. This is actually the front and back pieces for the bag. I still need to iron them and everything, but isn't that pretty?
It is.
And it's like it's a cotton duck, so it's like a pretty sturdy fabric, which is really good for a bag you're going to be toting stuff in like all over the place. So don't mind me, I'll just be working on this and I'll just, jump in when I have something to say. It's better than typing.
I'm going to take something back to what Purple said earlier about how she was so surprised about how accepting the community was when she came out. And I'd like to point out that in our little subgroup of the community, the people who are part of the LGBT community as well vastly outnumber the others. I mean, look at this group here. There is only one person on this stream who doesn't come under the LGBTQ plus umbrella.
I was thinking that too.
I never thought about that.
That would be me.
The odd one out there, Jeff.
That would be Jeff.
I've said this how many times on the streets. I'm the token straight.
You're the token straight.
I'm just token cis white het.
Well,
how
I
often
w-
does
I was
that
aware of
happen?
that.
Dude, if you were-
Socialist,
If
so,
you were black and
like-
Muslim, we'd have all the bases covered,
Oh, we would.
Yeah.
all in one person.
But how often does that happen to you, Jeff? How often are you on streams and you're sitting there going, "I'm the only straight person here. I'm the only cis het person in this this chat."
I've noticed it a few times, but but in a lot of ways, it's been so damn helpful to me because I've actually, got to understand a lot of these issues far better.
So to follow on from that, is it a case that perhaps our little subgroup within the community is so good because we have that diversity in it, because we are so diverse as a subgroup, and we still have fights within our subgroup. I mean, we all know that. But
I think it's
in
less-
general, we are all looking out for each other because we've all come from backgrounds where, in one way or another, we suffered a bit, so that we are more prepared to come together and help each other because we don't like to see
Yeah.
each other suffer.
I
Well,
think
Yep.
it's more that last part about that we've all been through something
Yeah.
rather than necessarily diversity as such. It's just that, we've all been in some situation where we've been in the minority and we've been put down.
One day,
We're like we've been thrown in the shit club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got something to say to that, and some people will agree with me, some people won't. One of the best things personally I have for getting rid of the trolls and the haters and all the other dredges of society is get thick skin.
Oh yeah.
Because if it hadn't been for the military and me playing EVE Online, I would be a lot more fragile creature than I am.
for me, it was
Yeah.
just life in general. Because when I was younger and I came back to LA after I got peyote, shot up my nose, and dropped out of college. LA, out here, people didn't care what your sexuality was. Like, if you looked at the wrong person, they'd fight you. If you ran your mouth at the wrong person, they'd pull a gun on you. So you had to have street smarts, And in LA, every other person was under the umbrella. So a lot of people didn't give a shit because it was like, you go to Starbucks,
It's
everybody's
commonplace.
gay. You go to the bank, everybody's gay, and it's not just one side of town. It's anywhere you go, So it's a little bit more accepted here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with like where I'm living at in Kansas City is it's got its issues, but even when northern Missouri here has a lot of Bible thumping up here, and Kansas City is technically in a portion of the Bible Belt, but the area I was in when I was in temp housing was fairly open. I could walk down the street. I'd get, catcalled and harassed a little bit every now and then, but got some just thirsty men out here. So I gotta stay on that one.
Men are thirsty everywhere. They're
Yeah,
fucking
it's-
starving. They're parched.
You got the people. Hey,
Dehydrated.
how
Having
you
some
doing?
water.
How you doing? It's like, I'm fine. I'm trying to go to work, or I'm trying to go home from work. Fuck off. And you probably ain't got what I'm interested in.
Men are so I say this as the stereotypical bi guy, but like men are like walking through the Sahara barefoot thirsty. That's the kind of thirsty guys are.
Look,
Yeah.
this is what I
That's
do
the
when
bold
a
that
cis
that's just I don't know, just wired that way.
when a cishet guy tells me that I haven't had the right man, I just tell them, I look him dead in the eye and say, I will turn you around, bend you over, and make you my bitch. And they stop for somewhere.
I actually know some cishet white guys who probably would enjoy that.
Yeah.
My mom.
I have had a couple say, okay. No, never mind.
My mom's
Jesus,
old.
that turned weird there.
My mom's old in-home care nurse. She was lesbian, and one of my mom's friends made a proposition to her, just out of joking, and she's like, "Honey, you don't have the right equipment." And his face turned beet red, and me and my mom were just laughing our asses off.
Recently, I said this on B Stream a while ago. Recently, there was this young lady that walked up to me. She was hitting on me, and I was like, "I'm 40," and then she turned around and was like, "Thank you so much," and then she walked away. She realized I was probably her parents' age,
My bad.
Or if someone's overt, I tell them like, "I will ruin your life." I look them in the eye and tell them like, "I will ruin your mother effing life." Like, try it. You couldn't handle 3 seconds of it, Tell them it's like PBR. You think you can ride that bull until you get on that bull. Everybody's tough until they see the bull.
Facts.
He's got a rather large bull.
That or just walk around with a sharp object in your hand. That'll keep people away.
I've noticed when I've recently bought one of the golf umbrellas.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And I've noticed when I'm carrying that and I am walking with it and I have it gripped at the handle instead of using it as a cane, people stay further away from me.
Good tip. See,
Gotta
these
make-
days,
gotta-
all you have
gotta
to
make-
do is like cough and sneeze, and the crowd will part.
Yeah. In answer to Animal Science TV, Kitty is providing the ASMR for the stream.
And to answer Ox, I miss PBR now. I completely forgot about professional bull riding.
I mean, I'm muted, so I can't really be doing ASMR as much. But
Well, maybe we should do the voiceover. And now we see Kitty riding that lion.
in her natural habitat.
I've been thinking about that because I do have an extremely high and nasally voice. I've been thinking about doing that. But I don't have. I'm
Rub
too.
the iron.
I'm
across the
too
fabric.
ADD to sit there.
Be
You'd have to
careful,
pay
get
me.
firm.
I find the whole ASMR thing kind of creepy.
It is.
Yeah,
It
to
is.
me, it's like this feels like what a stalker would do to me.
Okay, so finally a conversation that I'm going to go off. So I came to YouTube later in life.
He said
And-
finally like that he's never done this before.
There
This
was
is
Been
the
off
first
on the stream
time.
at least 4 times
No,
on this
no, I
actual
have a-
stream.
You are so full of shit.
I remember between mukbangs or ASMR, I remember thinking like, what the F is going on? This is a reason why aliens don't visit us.
There's
It's because of
You're too busy
mukbangs
watching
and
ASMR videos.
No, it's conservative Republicans. That's why.
True.
fucking Hard
The aliens are like
Bible
Moon, Mars,
thumping-
Earth. Hell nah.
when I first saw ASMR, I was like, I could never sleep to that. I fall asleep to old TV shows and there'll be gunshots, all kinds of crazy stuff. I pass out. When someone's doing this, I pay attention because I'm like, why the F are you whispering to me?
No. There's
Oh,
two
yeah.
things. There's two things I fall asleep to. Dragon Ball Z Abridged, because I've seen it so many goddamn fucking times.
Damn right.
And two, any documentary I've seen a million times.
Mm. Yeah, I do that. I will put something on my phone that I've listened to or watched before and put it on. Oh. I'm gone.
I know this is gonna make Jeff jump, but I, in my angry atheist phase, I used to fall asleep to Joseph Atwell's Caesar's Messiah.
Oh God, I understand that. That is the worst book. That's one of the worst books I've ever read.
I wanted it to be. I loved that book.
That book is absolute trash. And
It is.
I remember who was it who had him on? I think it might have been Chris Mallard who might have had him on, and it's saying he's having him on. And I was in the stream, and I was like, bite your tongue, don't say anything, because that is like look, I'll just say this. I'm sort of, I don't have a dog in the whole mythicism versus historical Jesus thing. But I'll tell you what, if anybody, any mythicist takes that book seriously, then you do not fucking have a clue about what you're talking about, because that book is like flat earther level fucking reasoning. And
I hate to get all Chris Hitchens on you, but I just love a good Jesus bashing every once in a while. I love the old God bashing.
Isn't that why we all cut our teeth on atheist experience? just to see some Christian bashing.
I got into this guy named Ken Humphreys. He wrote a book called Jesus Never Existed, and he comes more from the factual standpoint. Joe Atwell is like somebody who believes in real life woo woo. He's on with like George Norrie. I miss George Norrie. I just don't believe in that crap anymore.
I wonder if Joe Atwell was also online under the name Russian Vids. Pretty much, it was that way of thinking. I'm not kidding.
Drugs. Did you ever listen to Coast with George Norrie?
I did.
No, I don't think so.
We talk about aliens a lot.
I've always been a audiobook / NPR / whatever kind of country or rock I can find that's local in the area. That's what I always did.
I was addicted to talk radio.
It was something to do, man. You just have nothing to do driving a truck.
I enjoy good audio book because it comes in very handy when I'm at work. But yeah, I've read a couple of like the sort of mythicists. I mean, I read Carrier's absolute brick of a book. And for the most part, his logic's, his reasoning's quite good. But then he just does, to my opinion, he takes a bit of a real jump off the cliff at the end of his conclusion, in my opinion. But that's something you want to talk about, something people will bloody fight over in this sort of secular atheist community. Is the whole Jesus mythicism thing. That you want to tell about some dogmatic shit there.
Oh, but there's a lot of dogmatic shit within our community, within the broader community, not necessarily within our little element of it. But there's a lot of dogmatic thing within the secular community. This still comes back to the same thing of, are we better? We're not. We do exactly the same bullshit that the religious people do. The only thing that we maybe are better at is we aren't advocating that we go and fucking kill people, which some of the extremist fucking
let's be real. In America, the evangelical insanity is getting a grip in this country. I think they're dying out, but these are the death rows, and people are listening to their crap. Look at all these new laws, anti-trans laws.
What we're seeing happen.
There's crap coming from the secular community too. I mean, look at the actual Richard Dawkins, not Darth Dawkins, but actual Richard Dawkins and his bullshit. For somebody who's meant to be a biologist, Richard, you haven't kept up to date with modern science, and you're so far off the road that you're wandering in the fucking undergrowth.
What we're seeing happen simultaneously is that we are getting more of the evangelicals. And at the same time, the fastest growing group is the nuns, the people who don't identify with any religious group. And not only is that the largest it's ever been.
And habits for a second, then.
Well, it means that they're not necessarily atheists. They could still identify as Christian, but they don't consider themselves belonging to any church type things.
Yeah.
But not only is that, now like almost a quarter of the population, but the way the polls have going, the rate that people are leaving the organized religions is accelerating.
And that's why I was so shocked at the uptick of evangelical people around me, but they're also older people. And let's be real, times suck right now.
Yeah.
People are scared. People are losing their jobs. People are losing their businesses around here. Everything's closing. That's not a big corporation. Reality is closing in on people because they didn't have the long money, you know. So,
Well, plus you have all those kids now that are now adults.
Yeah,
we have this
COVID
big
may have
influx of kids
accelerated
coming in,
this.
and they're not that they weren't raised like us. They had information.
yeah.
So
Oh,
are
yeah.
people, to follow on from that, are people coming out of religion and joining the secular community but bringing all their biases with them, not prepared to relearn
I
about everything,
think
but
that's
just
inevitable.
coming out with saying, I don't believe in a God, but I still believe all these other people are going to hell.
I think you've got to accept the fact as well that even if you can go into something still, you can go into something completely different but still have a lot of baggage from that.
Yes.
And it doesn't go away instantaneously.
No.
Like I said, I've been around left-wing politics a lot of my life. And I've seen people who may have had quite some, should we say, very, quite conservative views, but then sort of moved to the left, but still, was still a bit bad on, say, like, I don't know, gay rights or something like that. And the worst thing you can kind of, in one of the ways, unless it's just one of those things where they just are not going to listen. It's one of those things that the worst thing you can do is instantly demonize them and say other them, because it's like you can't expect people to come out just and just go from one end to the other straight away. I think that's an unrealistic expectation. I mean, we know this with, say, some people we know in our community that may have very different views to a lot of us. I mean, Chris would be a good example.
Yes, Chris.
Atheist pastor.
Chris is a weird example though, because he's conservative in fiscal policy only. And the rest of him is bordering on left.
I recently met a black conservative and my head almost exploded on stream.
Well, I do try to follow some channels, for some of the other side, because I don't want to be in an echo chamber.
I do.
One of the more interesting ones I found was BitchSpot Blog, because I agree with virtually everything he says about religion and disagree with virtually everything he says about economics and politics.
I watch one TERF because I want to die young. She is still bad for my blood pressure, but I still watch her. I watch Little Light Studios because I grew up Catholic, evangelical. The rules of evangelical Christians are just weird to me. They hate everything. They're against everything. It reminds me of a hardcore sect of Islam. So I always say that, like, this particular group, they always say everything's haram.
All right, I want to say my sins. As far as that is, I'm very centralist. I lean heavily left, but there are some right stuff that I enjoy and support. Outside of that, so far the only person that's right-wing-ish that I follow is Blair White, and it's not for any particular reason. It's just because I like to see some of the shit she spews.
It is a shit show watching.
And she's fucking hot. I'm sorry, Blair White's fucking hot. But outside of that, that's really everything else. I'm pretty much, most of the people I follow either similar to me, centralist, or right wing, or not right wing, left wing. And then there's a couple probably, I don't know what their affiliation is because they're nowhere near this community. So they're gamers for other shit, and I don't care. I just like it because their content, and they're usually pretty cool people. So, at least from far as I can tell from their videos and stuff.
I mean, as I said, it's one thing. As I said, I've been around left-wing politics a long part of my life. There's just one thing I know about his sects. You want to see, I mean, it was like the old joke, one communist is a communist, two communists is a party, three communists is a split. You know,
I haven't heard that in so long.
it is so true.
It's true.
Which is what makes me laugh when I hear a lot of people on the right sort of talk about it, like, you know, all these communist kind of plots or whatever. So do you know? I said, there's more blooming sects of, like, you know, like
Yep.
Marxist type groups in that than there is in the church. Okay, and they really. I mean, that's why, like, Monty Python's, like, The People's Front of Judea was so funny, because that is so true. That is what it is like on that, and on like that, on that end of the political spectrum. That is exactly what it is like. You've got groups with like less than 10 members, you know, and just we'll just have schisms over these absolutely most ridiculous things.
But that's what happens when you get a majority. There is so much infighting in a particular organization I know in LA that it makes me laugh that it even is a running organization, and that's the gay and lesbian organization in LA. They do so much for people, but it's catty because people have a majority here. You know, so people get on the board and they fight, and they'll be on the board of directors, and it's like it's always war.
Though. I mean, I've been involved in lots of different groups and that, and they always end catty.
Yeah.
You know,
oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I loathe to mention I won't mention the person's name, but people are probably going to know who I'm talking about. But, like, you know, you mentioned the whole fallout with the ACA and over rationality rules and so on earlier. I mean, you know that there was someone who interjected themselves into that whole mess. That to me is the absolute definition of an ultra left sectarian. The likes of which I've seen in the past. Only, you know, this is an ultra left sectarian around identity politics. Who, you know, and I'm thinking you know who I'm on about.
Yeah. I think we all know.
Absolute, yeah.
Yes.
I just don't want to mention their name, but
they confuse me.
As long as you don't mention it 3 times, Jeff, because if you mention it 3 times in a row, they might fucking show up.
No, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. They will stalk you. I've said this a million times. I've seen them stalk obscure YouTubers you have never heard of.
This is the kind of person.
They're crazy.
This is the kind of person who, if you disagree with them on what topping to have on a pizza, you are going to get branded a transphobe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
pretty much.
That is the level. That is the, you know, it is the absolutely, in a lot of ways, I think it's way more vitriolic than a lot of the ultra leftists I've seen in the sort of around Marxism and Trotskyism or whatever, because it seems to be way more personalized with some of the groups that I've seen in this community around identity politics who've got like a real extreme position like that.
But I think also though, like, I've had to learn to back off because my whole life I've had to defend my race or my sexuality. So when it gets brought up, I'm like, oh, I'm ready to fight. I got my bag of ammo. I'm ready to go. And sometimes even I gatekeep, you know?
Oh.
You know, so I have to back off sometimes because times change.
Well, and
Wait, before you guys go any further, I'm going to go.
Oh,
Thank you. I love you
great
all. I'm
seeing
just
you.
tired.
Bye.
I'm used to going to bed by now. So, good night, everybody.
Night,
Love
B.
you.
Right.
Bye.
I will say this because I don't know how much you guys know any of my backstory, but I grew up Christian and heavy conservative. And look at me now. I'm atheist and I'm transgender and bisexual.
I will say, like, I have some on Facebook, a lot of people that have known me my whole life. The second that Jen and I announced that we were together, a lot of people unfriended me on Facebook, which I never go on Facebook anyways. It doesn't matter. But it made me laugh that one of the most loyal people that I know that is still friends with me, still sends me messages, is my friend from elementary school that is Mormon, has 9 kids. We're the same age. He moved to Utah. He works for BYU and still says, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, sends me random messages. How are you doing? What's up today? You know, still a good person, you know? So it's not always like this person is a super Mormon and they're good to me, you know?
Yeah.
So you never know, but everybody else are dicks.
Going back to the person who shall not be named, like honestly, they have such a victimhood and persecution complex that it makes me question everything about them. Like, and
To be fair,
I
and I
don't
don't
like
want to
being
overly
that
defend them, Kitty.
person, you know.
A lot
but
of people in the LGBTQ plus community have that thing of feeling like they're victims because of the oppression they've had. However, I think the particular person we're talking about has never felt oppression in their entire fucking life.
And I've had people start fights with me and then instantly claim to be a victim. And that person that shall not be named, I'll say it like this. They're the kind of person that always has something to say about people in bike clubs but doesn't even own a bike.
I hate to go ahead, Kitty.
No, I was gonna say, like, honestly, I don't think anybody in our little corner of the internet would consider me transphobic.
No, definitely
but they
not.
would. They would. That
Yeah.
person would. Because I questioned them. Like, and I said that I thought they were wrong. But that apparently
with
makes
that-
me a transphobe.
Well, let's be honest. We've got 3 trans people in this stream that person would brand transphobes.
Yeah,
So,
Absolutely.
Well, here's the thing, and I think Jeff may have seen this. Jen, you may have seen this on Twitter. There's a couple times when I know this is beginning of the year sometime where Chesh and Steve were both getting bashed by some people that
Will not
back
be
in the
named.
past, yeah, won't be named. And I jumped in there. It's like, I follow Steve and Chesh. I'm trans. They're not transphobes. I'm very well loved in their group. And
Steve's not a
they
transphobe, he's
back
just an
off.
asshole in general.
They back off. And then they go after me for a little bit, and it's like, I don't know what you're trying to do, but the same shit you're using on Steve and Chesh, which to get a reaction out of them, they're not even caring about the reactions that they're giving back because they don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then you're trying to hurt me. It's not going to work, sweetheart, because one, I'm ex-military, and I grew up in the rough and tumble life in the country. You got to come up with better shit than this.
Yeah, it's
What? YouTube wouldn't let me comment beautiful on Ox's new video.
What?
Man,
YouTube is messed up.
I put beautiful in a bunch of horns, and I think they took down my comment.
Too many emojis is classified as spamming.
Is it?
Oh, is it?
yeah.
Good to know, because I'm the emoji. I speak through emoji.
I haven't figured out what it was, but I know YouTube deleted some comments off of some of my, people had posted after my live streams.
Yeah.
And it's like they were even donating comments, deleting comments by people who I've got listed as moderators.
Oh, they were deleting channels at one point. It went really nuts, didn't it? At one point when a load of channels got deleted because of like emojis, it was really, which is really messed up. But
I don't think it let me do it twice, or maybe I commented twice. We'll see.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, I think the hard limit's like 3 or 4 emojis in a row. Anything more than that, and I think YouTube flags it as spamming. I'm not 100% sure. Do not quote me on that. I am not a YouTube expert.
But going back to that, like on Will stream on Friday on the Sewing Circle, I made
Okay,
a comment
good.
during the stream that everyone should make comments on Will's stream like they're commenting on a porn video, because that's the discussion went in that direction. And a few people tried, and none of those comments were allowed.
Not one, to the point where the Lone Wanderer sent me everything they were going to send me, and it was amazing. And YouTube needs to calm down, because the Lone Wanderer had artwork that they were going to put up there, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Animal science. My simple solution for that, but of course I can afford it, is YouTube Premium, so I can just turn off the screen.
My simple solution to that is carpenter's jeans that have the pocket on the right thigh. I have
That
never
works.
got dialed in my life.
That works. I've done that too. In fact, there's a couple times when I've lapsed my YouTube tongue tied. I'm been up for a while. But YouTube Premium subscription, and I've had to do that. That's why I bought, when I was working the temp version of what I'm going to be doing. That's why I bought my own pair of scrubs that had the side pocket, so I could do that in case YouTube decided to say, "Oh, hey, I'm not going to wait 2 weeks till you are able to pay your subscription fee."
Yeah, the old mill brand, it accommodates the cell phones with anything up to a 5-inch screen.
Yeah, my phone's a lot bigger than that. Mine's a 6.5 inch size phone, I think.
Okay, that's not a cell phone, that's a mini tablet.
No, it's a
No,
Razer
you
phone.
just reminded me of something.
Just using my cell phone.
No, I said the same thing to my uncle. He's 5'5". He's this portly dude, and his phone was half of the size of his hip. I'm like, that's a tablet. That's not
Yeah.
a cell phone. That's an effing tablet.
Well,
Also-
even 5 years ago, they were advertising tablets with a 7.5-inch screen as being a big deal.
Yeah.
and now there's tablets with 13-inch screens and
Yeah.
keyboards now. They're called all-in-ones. Or a Surface Book.
Yikes.
I see a wild Chris.
I can't even
in our chat.
remember what I was
Yeah,
going to
no,
go off
appreciate
about
it.
now.
As Chris is in the chat. Hi, Chris. I'd send you a link, but I know you're busy cooking for Lissy and getting all the kids. all
Oh, and
ready.
shout out to oh, sorry.
No, go.
No, Chris showing up reminded me. Shout out to the parents shout out to all the single parents, just in general.
Not that Chris
Such
is
as
a single
myself.
parent. But...
No. But it reminded me, like, I should get a trophy on Mother's Day. Because I see single moms sometimes, they're like, no, Father's Day is for me. And like, I feel like that on Mother's Day. So I'm kidding.
Actually, when I was
Yeah,
with my
we
ex,
have
I
a-
used to get presents on Mother's Day because I spent more time with the kids than she did.
See, because you guys is different to us because we have our Mother's Day in like March, so
Like, my kid's about to graduate the 6th grade, and I'm like, that's my 6th grade graduation. I took him to school every day.
My kids yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now that they're all grown and off on their own, I don't hear much from any of mine. So
Yeah.
I don't talk about this because it's kind of a touchy subject with me because of shit. So I'm gonna let you guys go have at it.
Sorry.
No,
no,
no, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Like I said, I'm tough
I'm
skinned.
down to change the subject because I'm anti-holidays. I spent my entire 20s alone, so I became really heartless towards holidays. So
Well,
I'm down to change the subject.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Mother's Day is the perfect example. The history is well documented that this is a completely artificial holiday.
It is.
That one woman came up with the idea. Hallmark decided it was a good way to sell cards and ran with it.
Okay, so excuse me. On one way, I miss Hallmark, the smell of candles and shame. but on the same sense, like, I just like throwing shame in there with everything. Who said it was okay to invent all these holidays? In America, at least, We have a holiday every like 3 weeks now. It's like
no, it's worse than that. It's about every week.
it's like something day or like left-handed
no,
day.
every day
or,
is something day though. I mean,
per
us
because
girls-
of
Purple knows
purple. Because of purple, I know this now.
every day
Um,
is something day. It's
She's the one who actually got me to look it up, and there is a day almost for everything.
Well, and,
Yeah.
I
and
like.
quite literally, the unions have pushed to try and make sure that there was at least one 3-day weekend every month. This is why the Chicago Butchers Union gets St. Urho's Day.
That's hilarious and awesome in the same sense.
do you get the Day of Days?
Well, because I actually
Special
brought
day
this
just
up
for
on one of
days
my.
that are named.
I actually brought this up on one of my streams I think, last week about because I did stream on May the 1st, which is International Workers' Day, and obviously America decided to make Labor Day a totally different date to not have the associations with the 1st of May.
Well, in LA, it's called May Day, but that's when the Si Se Puede movement started in Los Angeles with the Yes We Can movement, with it was with people that were immigrants to this country. So it's been completely changed in this half of America, at least. My small little corner.
Y'all missed the most important day in May of all. May the 4th be with you.
This was
been gaining a lot of traction.
I gotta say that was hilarious on Dave's questions that day. We were on May the 4th.
I
Bad
wish I could have.
And
Bad Tempered Badger was playing Star Wars music on a kazoo. It was hilarious.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that now.
this is another big corporate sponsorship that May the 4th is heavily promoted now by the Lego company since they've had the Lego license for over 20 years.
And their Lego specials are amazing.
Yeah,
My
on May
son
the
still
4th,
watches.
they always come out with a special custom set that's only available through the Lego stores.
It's well, everything around us is consumerism, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that goes back to all these made up whack ass holidays. And I'll tell you, it gets annoying with me because the state of California, our school system was kind of broke. And so they gave the teachers furlough days. And what happened is like we'd have a half day every week. And then it seemed like every other week the kids had a day off because it was a holiday.
I like some of the names of the Dudist holidays. Obviously, in Judaism there's Passover. In Dudism there's hangover.
I kind of look into Dudism.
do you pray to the dude when Christians try to pray on you? No.
No, I just will tend to be like, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
You know, I might be doxing myself, but at my local mall we have a Big Lebowski store. That's how
Wow.
commercial. Yeah,
I
and for
I think
$90
really-
you can buy the sweater. For $45 you can buy the shirt. You can get the bowling shirt. You can get the whole outfit.
See, I've kind of really shouldn't even be. But it's one of the weird things about it is I think one of the tenets is no proselytizing. So
That's awesome.
Here's a question: does a holiday have to be one day?
See, the
No,
Romans
some
got it
of
right.
them are like a week long or such.
Yeah, because I'm about ready to share something real quick. Because part of the gaming community I'm part of, the developers do stuff every so often. Well, the game I play it was its birthday, this 5th or the 6th, so it's 18 years old now. And hold on,
It's not Star Trek Online, is it?
fuck no.
I love you too, Nikki. I'm a Trekkie. I'm a hardcore Trekkie. So when I heard you say the age, I was like, well, there's like 5 different versions right now.
Boop. Come on. Stop. There we go. Get stuff and cool stuff for from the 6th to the 18th to celebrate the game's 18th birthday.
I've just had
Awesome.
somebody else complaining
That's
in
cool.
the chat that my volume's too low, but that's on the stream, not to you guys. So
Yep.
Yep.
we'll see what
But yeah.
they say. I've pulled it up a bit in OBS, so it might. be
As
okay.
Junie pointed out, Hanukkah,
Yeah, Hanukkah was what, about 3 weeks?
8 days.
8 days, is it?
Yeah.
I always thought it was longer than that. Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
Oh, great. Now that's in my head now.
That would be. There's got to be some old
And Kyle's the one singing
pagan
it.
holidays. Isn't there pagan? Like, didn't they like
Yeah.
drink Dionysus? Didn't they like drink out of 55-gallon vats? I want to
Oh,
go to
I've
that
heard
party.
stuff like that. I think Sam's probably the person to ask about that. I'd imagine, but yeah, I mean, paganism obviously, because there's so many different things. There would have been loads of different holidays and festivals of various deities or so on.
Well,
And
The
just
origin
drink-
of the honeymoon is that, mead, the wine is made out of honey.
yeah,
So that the honeymoon was that originally the bride's father was supposed to give the groom enough mead to last for a month. To
wow.
last from one full moon to the next full moon.
yeah, I've heard that. See, I've got to actually say this is one thing I don't miss about paganism is having to drink mead. I'm sorry, I don't like the stuff. I really don't.
I've never tried it, so I have no opinion on it. But
Sounds
I
Odie.
mean, if you like honey, you probably like it. But I'm not a big
is it
lover of
really
honey.
sweet
So
though?
Well,
Yeah,
for a
it's
wine, it's
basically
very
honey
sweet,
wine.
yes.
yeah, it's honey wine.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
It's not as sweet as you would think it is because, through the distilling or the fermenting process, a lot of the sugar gets used up. So it's not as sweet as you'd think, but it's still pretty sweet for a wine.
Yeah.
It's not like white ale. One of the dumbest things I ever did. Somebody was like, "You want some white ale?" And I'm like, "What's white ale?" And one hangover later, I'll never drink white ale ever again.
Jeff. I think Jeff was on the stream. I bought a bottle of Jack Daniels that was had cinnamon in
honey
it.
Jack Daniels.
No,
Oh, yeah,
I bought the
okay.
cinnamon one because I like
Oh, a bit
cinnamon.
like that. What's it? Fireball type thing, similar to that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Just advice to anybody out there: don't buy a whiskey or a rum with cinnamon in it. It is absolutely terrible to drink.
Oh, no, actually, I've got a couple bottles of the Fireball whiskey with cinnamon.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't stand it.
Well,
I can drink. I tried it once or twice. It was interesting to try, but I don't think I'd ever buy a bottle of the stuff, honestly.
No.
Well, actually, the first time I tried it was when I was at the Ark Encounter protest, and Aaron Robb brought it to the party. So,
Yeah.
so taking an occasional shot. But the one thing I found it's good with actually is to sometimes put a shot of it in iced tea.
Oh. Well, that
I
could work.
stick
with-
Cinnamon tea's alright.
I
don't
stick
know,
with
but my go-to with spirits anyway is dark rum. That's kind of my go-to.
Back in high school, for me, it was Goldschlager and Dr. Pepper, or just drinking like straight Crown Royal or Jaeger.
Jaeger bombs?
Jaeger.
Oh God! Don't
no,
let's
Jaeger
not
bombs.
mention
I can't
Jaeger
do
bomb.
beer.
But by the way,
I have
Kitty, I love your pin cushion wrist strap. I'm making one.
Yeah, it's so convenient.
I
like,
still
oh,
watch
that's
you
better
do
than-
that, and I'm going, fuck, I need one of those.
Oh, that's so much better than my chalice that I have with the tomato in it.
Everybody's
Why
got
you
one
use
of
a
those
tomato
tomatoes.
as a. No, I assume
Oh,
it's not
see,
a
now
real
I
tomato.
gotta pull out my tomato.
I know
No,
what
the-
you're
It's not
talking
an
about.
actual
I know what he's
tomato.
talking about.
I was gonna say.
There it is.
Yes,
cool.
the tomato pin cushions, there are several million of those left over from the 60s, so nobody who sews can get away from them.
I still because I had the privilege of being able to go through my grandma's house after she passed. I got all her sewing stuff, aka I took it. all of it. And I got amazing stuff from her. Absolutely amazing stuff.
You know what the fucked up part is? When I was in boot camp, I made a decent amount of money reinforcing certain buttons on the uniforms because other people did not want to learn how to sew. It was like, it's not hard. I learned this in home economics. Oh, that's right. I'm an old fart compared to a lot of you 18-year-olds.
I had home ec.
The hardest thing about sewing
I'm
is
35.
learning to think.
No, you're
Is
a
learning to
baby.
think in three.
Yeah, but I'm
dimensions.
still at the old enough thing to where I had home economics.
Well, I've said that there's a lot of guys who can call themselves a jack of all trades, but I'm probably the only one who could install the new windows and go on to sew the curtains.
So a Jill of all trades.
Do you know what's funny? When I had my computer the other way, it showed all the curtains and everything I made. No one gave a shit. When I moved it this way, now everyone's like, "Do you sew? Do you sew?" And I feel like being like, go rewind back to a year ago when I displayed all that crap I sewed and no one cared. No one cares about drapes unless you're into it, you know.
But no, like the hardest thing is to learn to think in 3 dimensions. Like, I will be sewing this. This is actually the front of my bag, but I will be sewing it down along this line that I just drew here. And then I will be essentially cutting out the middle and then folding it through and tucking it underneath and then sewing the zipper in. So all of this part will be hidden and it will give the zipper. And then this is basically part of the liner pocket that's going to end up getting pulled through the hole after it's sewed to the back. And then I'll attach the zipper and then I'll take the other lining piece and attach it and sew it around the edges. And then, sew the rest of this bag together, put the straps on, and then sew the lining in with a gap, like leaving a gap in the bottom of this so that I can sew the lining into the bag and then pull it right side out and then finish off that bottom. So all of the seams are on the inside. That's the hardest part of sewing, is thinking in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of doing a lot of stuff, is doing it in 3 dimensions, because I know how to literally build a house from the ground up thanks to a certain job I used to do. Outside of, laying foundation and shit. But yeah, thinking in 3 dimensions, if you're not used to it, is a pain in the ass.
Actually, my problem is I can't think in 2 dimensions. I have trouble with drawing plans on paper. I have to build models.
This is why I don't play the old school games anymore. I'm so goddamn used to thinking in 3 dimensions with certain things. I cannot do a 2D side scroll video game anymore.
You can't. I love side scrollers.
Nikki, do you have your TV on, or are there cops outside your window?
I think that's her computer flashing.
Here, look. That's probably why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're seeing a blue flash across the window every now and then.
Oh no, I just saw it. Possibly. Oh, I got thunderstorms in the area.
Ah.
Oh wow.
I'm really good at I Spy.
With Mylan Live.
Yeah, you were saying about doxing yourself, and it's like, people, I think, are often not aware of what they say or show when they're doing videos. Like, one YouTuber, I know what city he lives in just from seeing the abandoned pizza boxes behind him.
When you said that the other day, I don't know if you see me, I literally closed the lid of my pizza and put it down.
Yeah.
Well, it's like G-Man. Like, G-Man doxes himself whenever he goes on his little walks, and he's showing all the street signs while he's walking and ranting into his camera.
Yep.
Like a
So
lunatic.
So like what another person, flat earther that won't be named, does?
Yeah, well, and there's another person in our community that I know what town he's in because he was doing one of those of driving around and
Yep.
seeing the stuff
honestly-
in the background, and I saw the name of the town on the water tower, and it's someplace I'd driven through.
I was
Honestly?
watching a Mr. Bear video, and he was he was commenting on there was a street preacher that drives around on his motorcycle, and I'm starting looking at the streets. He lives like 35 minutes from my house, and he drives around my town because he's just driving around like talking, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's my town. And so in one of his videos, I'm like, this guy, but he looks like everybody else, but he completely doxed himself. I know exactly where this guy lives.
Well, that's what I mean. That if people who are more paying attention to the background details can often pick up things. So if you're really worried about being doxxed, you got to be really careful about your backgrounds.
I'm not worried about being doxxed, so that's my biggest thing. Is I
Yeah,
don't care.
I'm not either.
I live in Kansas
I'm
City,
not-
everyone. Yay!
No, my thing
I mean,
is,
I don't make any secret about my name or the town I'm in.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Now, so if someone put my address out publicly or something like that, or my phone number, yeah, that's a whole different ball game. But
that's my thing. Like, I've probably doxed myself a few times, but like that's different. I've had real life stalkers, so good luck on you if you try to come by my house and I don't know you. Good luck on you.
For me, like everybody knows that I live in Orlando, Florida, but Orlando is one of the most populous towns in Florida. But people don't know my real name because I'm the only person with that name. Like literally the only one, especially if you count for the unique spelling my family gave me. So there is nobody else in the country or maybe even the world that has my name. So I keep that one a little close to the vest.
Well, that's like with me because Kansas City is actually a very spread out city, and it's got a lot of different sub cities to it. So it's like, yeah, I Kansas City. I'll even give you even a bigger hit. It's Central Kansas City. Come find me, I dare you.
Oh, that's why I say Los Angeles, because there's 10 million people just in my county.
Yeah.
I live in a town of 5,000 people called Mount Barker. Come and find me.
Well, yeah, even if you know my real name, it's so common, especially for a Scandinavian area, that I tried Googling myself, and with my real name and the city I live in, I got 600 results, and none of them referred to me.
It's funny you'd say that, Purple. I've done background checks.
Jen, no one's going to come find you because I mean the wildlife in Australia is going to get to them before anything else.
Yeah.
I got a big dog.
Stool's awake. If Stool's wondering, my real name is Nora Batty. Come find me.
Ox said I found
Only
Waldo,
Jeff got
but he
that
paid
one.
me not to tell anyone where he was.
Jeff is the only one who got that joke.
Yeah. Hashtag stall is compo.
Still has a link. I just looked at my Twitter. Still has been asking for a link for about 20 minutes.
You know what my thing is? Like, because I've had
Sorry,
a real life
wasn't
stalker,
paying
I'm
attention.
a little bit more sensitive towards it. So if I catch you trying to come in my window, I don't believe in much.
I just have three.
So is still your stalker? Well,
I don't have stalkers yet, but I have creeps. So
same thing, isn't it?
So when you it'll change you when you're like, when someone's like, I'm gonna kill you, and you're like, you know what, I believe you. I believe you.
Well, and that's, I hadn't really been worried about it before, but yeah, with the trans thing is more of a concern. Because unfortunately, I do live in a very Republican pocket here, so I can expect that it's not going to go over well with some of my neighbors when it becomes visible.
Do you think they're going to treat you differently?
I'm sure some of them will, because I've overheard some of the conversations of some very Christian attitudes.
Yikes.
You know, and you don't see rainbow flags or that around in the city.
That's one reason why I left the small town that I was in, outside of the fact I would have been literally homeless in a town of 3,500 people. Yeah, I was like, okay, so I got choices. I got Kansas City or St. Louis. St. Louis is more expensive and too far away.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Kansas City.
Yeah, well, that's until a year ago. I'd been in a town of 3,000, and you know, I'd wanted to move to Minneapolis, but the rent is a lot cheaper here. So it's 30,000 people, so it's not a small town or anything. But
yeah, even if
Hi, Stool.
hello.
Mr. Granger.
I am Mr. Granger, Will, and I hate you, as we all know.
you missed Mr. Humphreys.
I wanted to do a Mr. Humphreys, but I know how Will gets a little bit aroused when I do that, so I'm not going to do it. Also,
Mr. Humphreys is one of my heroes. That's all. I'd be insulted if you.
I'm just going to put this out here, Australia, Jen.
Yeah.
I literally have to beg to get in here. That's not a good thing.
I'm sorry, so I was not paying any attention to Twitter.
Neither was
So
I.
I'm
You're in the
sorry.
group, aren't you? In the group?
No, Stool.
I don't.
That was when he was doing
I
his
don't-
jump in and out of groups thing, and no, we haven't.
I do the
reacted
same. You know what? I can't judge. I do the same thing. I wake up angry and I'm like, I hate you all. I'm out of here. I do it. I judge no one.
yet. So we'll have to re-add you to the group. Stool. I'm sorry.
That is what I did with YouTube and Discord earlier this week. I nuked everything. It's like, okay, yeah, no, unfollow all this group of people. Get out of all these Discord channels because fuck all the bullshit drama. All right, cool. I'm down to a handful now.
So Stool, you haven't had a chance to answer the question. Is the secular community actually any better than other communities?
Was that a question aimed at me?
Yes.
I've just arrived, for fuck's sake. Hang
No,
on.
yeah, but
Give me-
it's actually
give
was
me
the
a
topic for
chance.
this stream.
Okay, so can we talk about how I'm so glad that Lawrence Fox didn't win? And Lord Binface got 24,000 votes. I'm so proud of Lord Binface.
After this, Will, I'm going to tell you something really funny. I won't do it now because Australia Jen will twat me because I tend to go off topic. Yeah, it's a thing I do.
You're no different to Will in that respect.
Oh, I ramble. I am a
Yeah.
rambling man.
I'm not a big fan of this whole word communities. I think it's utter nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it at all. I mean, people are people and you like people or you don't, whatever. But this weird thing that there's a community, yeah, whatever.
My reason for bringing up this question was during Amanda's fundraiser. I noticed Amanda said it, and I've said it in time during other fundraisers, mine included, in that where we say things like, "Oh, this community we're in is so wonderful. It's so good. It's better." Oh, I'm paraphrasing because this isn't exactly what it says, but we're better than other communities because we all support and look out for each other. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen other communities that do all the same sort of things that we do, and I've also seen the bitchy, horrible side of our community. And the crap that also happens, and the people who wander into our community sometimes and do the wrong thing within the community as well.
We are no different. We are no different than any other group. We're all human beings. If you put human beings in a group, we try to, rule over each other and hurt each other.
And it's tribalism.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing. I'm still not a huge fan of this word communities. I don't like it at all. This is not a community. To me, this is just a bunch of lovely people. That's what it is to me.
No, seriously,
it's not a community.
there's been at least 3 or 4 times that Stool has talked me off the ledge saying that. So that's some real advice, actually. We're just good people.
Dude, I keep telling you what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Stop sharing our secrets.
I don't want to ruin your reputation as the. I'll stop. I won't be nice.
I'm just going to say this, Will. Look at my face, Will. Do you see what I've done? Do you see what I've done for you today?
You look lovely.
I've made myself extra special white because I know you like that.
Have you ever considered the slogan, "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas," may have been started by a hotel that put hidden cameras in the rooms to blackmail people?
I think it was started by somebody who lived in Vegas.
That was
Let's
one
be
of
honest.
the great. You know why they did that is because they tore down all the old casinos, and Vegas was no longer veered towards kids at all. So they were basically like announcing, like, this is an adult city. So, you know, if you're not coming here for hookers and blackjack, don't bother. Vegas, I saw a whole documentary on it, and it's kind of true because I remember when I was a little kid, Old Town Vegas still had the giant Marlboro cowboy. It still had old Vegas, and that's all torn down. And it's all about, you know, getting drunk, going to the casinos, and having sex with a hooker and going home.
Is that not a thing anymore then? So, you know, the old stock footage that we used to see.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I was sounding manly there. The old stock footage that you see from the old US TV shows going down Vegas with the cowboy and all that shit.
Yeah,
Is that not a thing anymore?
No, and the sad thing is, Vegas has so much money, they change every 6 months. I took a friend from Georgia there a year and a half ago, and I got off on Las Vegas Boulevard thinking I was going to go straight towards the Strip. They tore down a half a mile of casinos. I was in the dark. I didn't know where I was until I got to the Hard Rock casino. Then I was like, holy cow, they tore down half of Vegas. It changes depending on who owns what.
So is it
Who went
okay? This is new.
Well, and
Oh,
now
yeah,
the
bankrupt,
Raiders,
yeah.
you know, and that's the one thing. Vegas has become a sports town, and the Raiders and the Golden Knights play hockey there, and the Raiders are thriving in Vegas with a beautiful stadium no one's been in because of COVID. But, you know, Vegas, it's changed.
So is Vegas shit now?
It's for compulsive gamblers and really, really, really rich people.
Well, that's kind of what Vegas is, but is it not sexy and shit?
I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, I used to go there by myself all the time because I'm a degenerate gambler. But when I went with my friend, I felt old because all the stuff I knew was gone.
Don't spoil my dreams, Will. Is there literally not the cowboy doing this?
No, but we can go see him in a museum.
I got my nipples pierced in Vegas. It was my souvenir when I visited. It was 10 or 12 years
Guys,
ago.
I'm gonna have to drop out. I think I'm gonna have to get some rest before I stream this afternoon. So
Great
No
talking to
worries,
you.
Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
yeah, no worries. See you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Later on.
All right.
But it's one of those things, you know, nothing stays the same. That's awesome. Nothing stays the same, and it's sad. Tristan, I'm one of those people, I miss the Vegas that I knew even in the 90s. You know, and that place is gone.
You know how my head works, Will. I'm now thinking about Petticelli.
We don't know if your head works.
I love Petticelli. That was a
Yeah.
good show. Nobody knows what the fuck
Sorry, I'm
talking
rolling.
No,
about.
I remember that one. I vaguely remember it.
Now
I can remember-
now I'm thinking
I
about
can-
how disappointed I was when I went to the Hooters casino and it was ghetto.
When you first
It was-
said I love Petticelli, I thought it was some sort of Italian dish.
Now I'm totally thinking about the time I went to the Hooters casino and I was like, this is it? This is It was.
To be fair, I do love a good bowl of petrocelli. I like to eat it with a fork because I'm old-fashioned, but yeah, whatever.
Fork blasphemy. You're
So-
supposed to use chopsticks.
Yeah, it's purple. Purple, hi. I forgot to say hello to you.
Hello.
So, I was watching a video earlier, and honestly, if I win the lottery, the first thing I'm doing is buying an embroidery machine, because I saw someone, they did a recreation of the dress that Christina Ricci wore in at the end of Sleepy Hollow, you know, that black and
Oh,
white
yeah.
striped one. And they literally used their embroidery machine to make the lace. They just digitized the lace from a picture and used their embroidery machine and a stabilizer, like in lace netting, to essentially make the lace to sew onto the bodice. And I'm like, I need an embroidery machine in my life.
Yeah,
I
it's
need
fundraiser.
an
We're
embroidery
fundraising for Kitty
machine.
to get an embroidery machine.
No. I don't actually need it.
I want a 3D printer.
I want it, but I don't need it.
Oh,
I told
Can
you
I-
the next fundraiser. I would like a 1989 Ferrari Diablo cherry red.
Wrong
I-
manufacturer.
Because I live in the
It's
past.
Lamborghini. It's
Lamborghini.
a Lamborghini Diablo. I know because I've always wanted one because of the fucking doors.
Yes,
And because of
yes,
the name.
yes.
Yeah, two wildly different companies and different
Should we do a
philosophies.
fundraiser?
I want a
to get-
1989 Diablo that my neighbor had, and they
Should
sold
we do a
it. I want that
fundraiser to
car.
get Kitty
Actually,
a
wait a
bra?
minute,
Do you think?
I think that might be a Coutant
Same.
or Coutanch. I can't even pronounce the name. I'm so fucking tired.
Well, if we do the fundraiser to get Kitty the embroidery machine, she can make her own bras.
Well, that's communism. No.
I don't need an embroidery machine to make bras. I can make them with my sewing machine. I just need to buy the
I
material.
know, but you could make fancy ones if you had an embroidery machine.
I
That's true,
expect
could
that
do
Kitty could
fancy
get the
lace.
money to buy the embroidery machine if she started an OnlyFans showing off her bras.
Oh yeah, she can, no worries.
Godless Sewing, that would be the Coutanch.
That works.
Oh, that's. Ooh, I want 1989 Countach. That sounds sexier than what it really is.
It is.
Why are you doing
Yeah,
this,
It
Will?
sounds
Will?
like you're
Like
saying
this.
Will.
push.
I would,
Well,
I would put
that's
wings on it.
bad.
I'd be driving so fast. I'd put wings on that
It
thing.
already has a wing
Oh, cars
and
are-
a
Well-
front air.
those cars
Will,
are
we've
amazing.
discussed this before. You know when you try to do your sexy radio voice, it doesn't work. Okay, stop doing it.
You want to know why you tell me to stop? It's because it makes you tingle. That's why. And you're welcome.
It does. It makes me tingle. It makes me tingle. It makes me tingle in my special place.
I missed you, Stool. I'm glad I drank coffee and stayed up for this. Because normally I would usually be screaming at the sky.
I love Will so much. Will is my best Riemann ever. I love him so much. I don't like cars.
Oh yeah. See that that just reminds me of my childhood. I would smash one of those things.
To me, a car is like any other tool. It serves a purpose for me, but yeah. I'm not going to be impressed by fancy cars that have capabilities I will never use.
I will tell you though.
Although
I know I have
electric
to
car
look it up.
seats are fucking awesome in winter.
I have to look it up though. Justin Bieber crashed a Lambo somewhere around here and he survived, or his friend or something. He was in the car, and I was like, wow, those cars are actually dependable because they should have both
Caitlyn Jenner
died.
and kill somebody else at the same time.
No, but I gotta look it up now, but they should have died. They were going so fast that they shouldn't be here. But that Lambo saved their life.
I find
like
cars
your
to
truck.
be immensely boring. I have no interest whatsoever, except for the white one. And this is not racism, Will. Except for that white one that went underwater. That was a cool car.
In the Bond film.
Exactly. I'm not going to sing the tune, but you know what I'm talking about.
I just want to.
I do love me a little bit of James Bond every now and again.
Bum, ba-dum, bum.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Vegas is one of the cheapest cities in America. I wouldn't be surprised. And they don't have taxes like everywhere else because the casinos pay for the taxes. So they don't have state tax. Like California, we get taxed on top of tax for saying the word tax.
Stop saying
And this is why I don't live in California.
It's still weird to me when I cross state lines and I don't have to pay, like when I pay for something and it's the actual price, where it's not like you're getting taxed on.
I've
On the
never
dollar.
been anywhere that happens.
Oregon,
No,
Nevada.
we've got stack taxes because we have state tax and county tax and then city tax.
Wow.
Again, this is why I will never live in California.
Well, I'm in Minnesota, so we pay like 8.5% on top of whatever you think you're buying, and it depends which county and city you go to. The tax rates will vary a little bit.
Yeah,
Mine's-
we're like
mine's
9 to
7 to 8.
10%. We're like
Okay,
9 to
so
10.
going back to what Jen said, like I just took my bra off and I'm looking at it, and yeah, like I literally could do like a custom embroidered lace, and then I would just have to back it with like a power net, and if I were gonna do a bra like this, I'd have to put in the little power bar, which is this part here, which is what gives structure to the bra.
Into it. and stuff like
I
that.
struggle
Dude,
when
if
struggle when Kitty's on a stream because I do struggle because the camera angle is really cheeky, and also
I was working here.
I know you're always working. Yeah,
She's on her phone too.
if you post this link on Twitter with the headline "Kitty takes her bra off," you'll get about 1,000 hits.
I doubt that.
This is a true fact. Yeah. Hashtag Kitty tits.
Okay. Fun fact, like, and the meme is true. Like, they saw there was like this woman that it was early in the pandemic. She had posted a picture of how she had turned her bra cups into a mask, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work for me because it's my whole fucking face.
You
I
know,
think it was on my my interview with Neil, and halfway through the interview, somebody said in the chat, "Jen, you realise your bra is sitting on your TARDIS behind you?"
I'm old enough to remember when Kitty, I think it was last week, I forget, maybe, I don't know. COVID years, who knows? I'm old enough to remember when Kitty was eating those thingy-majigs that we're not allowed to talk about, and she was totally off her tits.
Oh yeah, no, I was in a happy place.
Oh,
You were-
speaking of which,
You were totally tit-faced, and it was
they,
hilarious.
they sell them at my
I was in a
dispensary.
good mood.
They-
I was
they
in a
sell
really
'em.
good mood.
They sell them here in California.
I saw one for the pandemic of a picture of a woman who made a bikini out of 3 face masks.
That's better than the lady I saw that had a thong on her face and got kicked out of a store.
I still need to do. I need to do more research into this because Kitty told me that her special nom noms, $11, I think she said, which to me is
I
not
paid
expensive.
11 for them because, but granted, there's only 5 gummies, 5 or 6 gummies in the package, and it's like
Yeah.
$15 retail. But my sister
But-
works at the shop, and she just bought them. So
You did seem to be getting your money's worth out of it. So
oh yeah, no.
Um,
I did a trial, and I cut one into 4 pieces, and 1/4 of one is enough to give me pain relief without making me too spacey. Like I didn't feel spacey. I just felt like the pain relief.
this is something that
If you can drop me a link, Kitty, for the ones you got, because I tried some and they really didn't have much effect on me. I just got, I got a light buzz, like I had like 3 shots of whiskey.
I was going to ask the same question, Purple, because
They're called
So
koi.
I'm kind of a lightweight.
They actually sell them. I saw them in the case, and it made me laugh. because Kitty sent me a picture when I went to my local dispensary because pot's legal in California, and I literally walk in
Well, these are
dancing. I say
legal
hi to everybody.
because they're in a gray area. No, these are legal everywhere because they're in a gray area.
Yeah.
Because they don't they're CBD gummies and they have less than the cap of THC for them, you know, by dry weight.
Yeah.
So
Just
they're
gonna put this out here because whose stream is this? I forget.
Mine.
Is it Jen's stream?
Jen's.
Okay. We all have different rules and laws and what have you. So let's be mindful that the YouTube gods are listening. So we can't all talk about certain things. Okay. But anywho, I am interested because I've never done it, and I think it would be a nice thing to try.
Well, that's here. We only have the marijuana if you've got a medical card, but you can get like the CBD vape oil and the gummies.
Yeah, we have CBD
You
oil
can get gummies.
shops here all the time, everywhere. I mean, I could literally walk down one of the streets down here. Of course, it'd be a lengthy walk, but probably within 2 miles, there's at least 3 CBD shops.
Yeah, Sloth Girl had picked up a pack of the gummies for me because, you know, they're supposed to help with sleep.
So you can literally walk to a store and buy the things that Kitty is
I could do that to my
consuming.
local cigarette shop.
Oh, yeah, I could get them here. You know, the place is about 5 miles away.
Another reason why I hate
only medical is legal. Like we don't have recreational marijuana here. Only medical is legal, and these you can buy at a regular vape shop where you buy e-cigarette stuff. Like they're not sold from a dispensary because they are under the legal limit. So they are legal and in a gray area. Anyone can use them if you're over 21.
That's the same as the laws here.
Here with a script. So as long as you got a script for them, you can have the CBD gummy.
As I say very often, I hate this country, but will adopt me.
I will say this though.
I am a great dad.
I'm in Missouri, so weed's illegal unless it's under medical usage.
Yeah, well, that's Minnesota too. That, you know, anything with THC, you need a medical card for, basically a prescription from your doctor. But the CBD oil and the gummies they can sell.
It's still weird to me to be able to go anywhere and legally buy pot. I've been pulled over with pot in the car, told the cop I have pot in the car, and they're like, "Oh, it looks like you're having a great night then."
Yeah. Well, Michigan
used to go to jail for it. Like no matter what, you'd go to jail for pot here.
Michigan pulled such a cheap one. While I was living there, Michigan legalized smoking pot recreationally. But it was still illegal to buy or sell it.
Yep.
And you could grow your own, but it was illegal to buy or sell the seeds. So if you had some that mysteriously appeared in your home, you could smoke it walking down the street, but you could not legally obtain it.
Do you know what's really funny? Recently, within the past 2 years, the cops made it illegal to smoke pot in your car. Every stoner in California was like, wait a minute. It was legal to smoke. They had no law on smoking marijuana in your car.
Oh, wow.
Oh, come on.
Smoking pot in my car, but
doing
now
it in your car is the best way to dole them out because it keeps it all contained in a small space.
I miss that. And you know what the funny thing is? How funny would I look going out in my truck at 3 o'clock in the morning and just sitting there and smoking on? I might do that tonight.
I think the answer that we need, the answer that I need here now is, Kitty, you know that packet that you showed? Your packet of happy sweeties. How long is that still ongoing, or have you consumed them all?
No, I haven't used them all because I just use them like when I don't want to take my pain meds and when I'm in a lot of pain and, you know, I just want to not be in pain.
Okay, I'm being really nosy here because I literally do not understand any of this voodoo.
No, it's fine.
So, out of your packet of 5, you've got how many left now?
I don't know. Hold on, let me check.
You know
Because
what's
Chris
really
has been
funny?
taking them too when scoliosis acts up a
I'm-
bit.
Yeah,
I'm
for
trying
a
to
lot of
learn.
people, if you don't take them too often, just half of one can have a good effect.
2 weeks
Yeah,
ago,
I can take a
took
quarter of one.
I ate the equivalent of a whole bag of those, and I just had a really good night's sleep. I got really baked. I called Jen twice, and I fell asleep.
He did.
Okay, so there are 2.5.
See, that's what I was hoping
in
they
the
would do
pack
for
left.
me, but yeah.
2.5 left. Still.
Yep.
Who's
Stool is
who's
stuck on a
stuck?
really awkward.
Here's the
He
two full
looks like
ones,
he's
and
about to
then
sing.
the two
Or somebody
that
Yeah.
are
stuck a
quarter.
finger up his.
And
He's playing the invisible flute.
yeah, apparently they somehow get around some of the postal service rules too, that you can actually buy them online. You know,
Yeah, I
that
think
surprised me to
so.
find out you
Hold
could
on.
actually buy them online and they'll ship them to you.
I've always wondered about
But
that.
it's 6 gummies.
Yep. Same thing. The only difference is the ones that we have here, they have THC and CBD in them.
Yeah.
So do
'Cause
these.
it
These
was
have THC in them.
oh okay. Because the ones I had 2 weeks ago, I ate the entire bag, and I was like, it was decent, but not like I wanted
But,
to knock me out.
Yeah, the ones we get here are just the CBD. They can't have any THC in them.
Well, these, at least in my state, are in a gray area because they have less than 0.3% on a dry weight basis of the Delta 8 THC. That makes it so that they can just be sold anywhere. You can buy them, like a convenience store could sell them. Like,
Yeah.
I got them from the vape shop my sister works at just because they sell different CBD products there, from like flowers that you can, smoke or have in tea, for like hemp and CBD, and those have a bit of THC in them as well, because like hemp has THC in it. It's just varying degrees.
Right.
And so for this, they're basically gummies made from hemp, and they have a very low percentage of THC, but it's mostly the other cannabinoids like the CBD and everything that are in there, and they help with my pain. And so, I'm fine with that. And they are legal. It's not, it's not anything I'm worried about, because they fall in that legal gray area. Until they legalize it federally, I won't go and get my medical marijuana card. Even though I qualify, I won't do that until it's federally legal. But like I said, this can be bought at just a regular shop that doesn't have to have any license or anything. So
Yeah, well,
not that worried about it.
From what Sloth Girl was reading, which actually was information from somebody who has a medical card here, it sounds like I probably could qualify too. I need to talk to my doctor about that.
Be worth it, but
Well, if it'll help me sleep, that's the main thing.
yeah.
I'll take anything that would put me to sleep.
Here's what it was like. I took a whole gummy, and it took a while to kick in. Like I started to feel it kicking in after about an hour or so. And I felt kind of like a bit of like numb tingliness, and like I noticed my pain easing off, which was lovely. And then it was like a warm tingliness that kind of washed over me from head to toe, and like it was a very nice feeling, along with like a floaty, like euphoric feeling, which I'm not used to feeling because like my pain meds don't give me that. So I'm not used to like a euphoria type feeling. So, I had that washing over me. And then after about 2 hours or so of that, or an hour, it kicked in, and then about 2 hours of that warm, like fuzzy feeling. And then it just mellowed out to like a heaviness, not in a bad way, but in a like sitting down in a hot bath kind of relaxation way. And I slept great that night. I didn't even have to take the medicine I usually do to fall asleep, which was fucking chef's kiss.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. That was actually the that stream was the first time I had actually tried them, so it was an adventure. But I need to bounce because it's 2 in the morning and I still
I
need to
was
take a
thinking we
shower.
should probably start winding up anyway, because it's getting late for all of you, and it's getting well into the afternoon for me.
Yeah, only 1 a.m.
And Will's muted again.
Well, it's because can you guys hear my crickets?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
Can you hear the thunder outside?
No,
No,
my
there you go.
crickets are barking tonight, so I mute myself because they're extra loud. My house is infested with crickets, and everybody loves crickets until you hear them every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure they get annoying.
Oh my!
I used to feed crickets to my sister's pet bearded dragon.
Oh, cool.
I have a lizard I found in the house and a lizard that lives in here, and they are more than welcome. They are more than welcome to live in that.
And eat the
There's one that
crickets.
lives under the wine rack. I saw it the other day with its long tail. I was like, "Hey, your references check. You eat crickets, get fat. It's gonna get fat in the
Well,
house."
that's why I generally don't have a problem with house spiders. You know, if they're catching the insects that because you wouldn't have spiders unless they were finding a good amount of insects to eat.
Absolutely, and I'm so weird that Isaiah and I feed the spiders. Daddy Longlegs live long lives in my house. We will hit them with fly swatters and feed them to the spiders. It's the circle of life.
Daddy longlegs aren't spiders.
Whatever they are, they eat
Yep,
flies.
they are actually predatory mites.
Well, they're everywhere in California.
They are. Daddy longlegs in Australia are actually a spider.
Yeah, that's a different species altogether.
Yeah.
They love flies. And they get huge.
Well, that's
I live in a
basically they
swamp.
still will.
Bugs are a big issue.
I'm all like, in the one thing. 2 years ago, we had a lizard that was so big it was a part of the family. I missed that thing actually.
The one time that the spiders got a bit problematic for my fiance and I was that apparently one had laid her eggs in the motor of the ceiling fan. So for about a week, we had like 300 tiny green spiders paratrooping down.
You reminded me, I have a perfect nest above my air conditioner that some bird put all this time into making. I mean, it's a perfect spiral. But when summer starts, my air conditioner does not turn off. And that thing yells and screams, and it's loud, So it's been preserved for year after year because, the second the air conditioner turns on, the birds are gone.
I'm surprised they keep coming back to it. Most birds won't use the same nest year after year.
No, I'm saying the nest it sits there. I'll take a picture of it. It's like preserved in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just realized I hadn't updated the description with everybody's links, but if anyone's still watching, go sub to people. They're all in the. They all will be in the description down below. Some already are, some are not, and I'm in the process of updating that. But please.
I'm pretty sure we still had Ox and Animal Science following.
Yeah. And what's people got coming up? Perps.
Nothing really special, just my usual chats Wednesday at noon and Thursday at midnight Central Time. And Friday evenings, I'm usually on the shills at 7 Central.
Cool. Although you weren't this week.
No, last night I just was feeling kind of out of it and not feeling very social, so I wasn't on anybody's stuff last night.
I don't blame you. Stool, do you have anything to shill?
Oh, Stool's back.
Oh, you're all going now.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Sorry, Stool.
What? My shit phone did a shit thing, which is kind of my life.
It happens.
Nikki, do you have anything to show?
Anyone's curious where they can find me, I don't have my YouTube channel up and running. It's still going to be a ways away for that. But I'm on VTW all the time on AT2's channel. And you can see me occasionally poking around in Twitter. That's about it right now.
Awesome. Awesome. Kitty?
I mean, the usual, either Sewing Circle or What the Fuck.
Or a round
And
table.
Twitter or Roundtable. You know, if I happen to check my fucking Twitter DMs, which I'm terrible about when I get in the
It's okay,
zone
Kitty,
and
we
something.
assumed you were asleep.
No, I was fucking working on this. I wanted to at least get all the cutting out done, which I did, and I even got some of the pressing done. So I will do all the sewing and construction tomorrow, and I will post pictures of the finished product on Twitter, so you can see the
Awesome.
bag when
I
it's
look
done.
forward to seeing it, Kitty. We do.
I'm
And
even
if
gonna
anybody
do
wants to
some
see how
vinyl
Kitty made
avatar.
it, just watch the stream.
Well, I mean, that was
Part
just
of it,
ironing,
yeah.
really. But I should start doing videos of sewing projects
Yep.
and
Kitty's
vinyl projects.
ASMR.
You could do craft streams.
Yeah, I should.
You should.
That's actually a goal of mine, is to get less drama and more sewing. No, because I had a moment, you ever had that moment where you look at yourself and you're like, sewing is what got you here. Stick to what you know. I had that moment the other week. So I'll be taking a break for a week and I'll be back in a week or two, but I'll oh yeah, hold on. Hi.
Oh, don't do the voice. Don't do the voice.
I'm Godless
Please
Sewing.
do not do the voice.
Everybody should go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. Every Thursday, Jen from Jen's Little Corner, Kitty the Atheist, the Empress of Hell, and myself do the What the Fuck show. Or we do the Sewing Circle, which I'm thinking that the next Sewing Circle is going to be about why Star Trek is better than everything else. And it's going to
Fuck
be
you.
It's going to be called Star Trek is better than everything else. Come fight me. That's what
Really?
it's gonna be.
Really?
Oh,
When's that? When is
I've
this?
got a problem with this.
Oh,
I've got a problem.
I'll be
I've got
sending
a
links.
problem right
I will
now.
be sending links out to everyone.
No, I have
Seven.
I have a very specific reason why I'm asking this, because I will be working Monday through Friday from now on.
What?
When is this?
Oh, I'll do it on the weekend just so you can curse
do
me
a
out and
weekend
tell me
one.
how terrible.
What-
Because I
what
want
a
to bring
game for
3 other
next Sunday.
sci-fis that are better than Star Trek.
Next Saturday night or
Oh, I'm
Sunday,
ready.
if you're in Australia like me, or
I've read Isaac Asimov. I have Gene Roddenberry books here. I'm biased. You know what? To steal a Stargate joke, I bow at the altar of Roddenberry. I do.
I have 2 words for you, Will. Stargate.
Yeah, that was one of them.
You know what's really funny? I'm obsessed with Stargate, and Jen knows.
The Expanse.
Jen's trying to, and I love the Expanse too.
I didn't even get to see all of SG1, and it's still the best sci-fi series.
I love. I'm quite literally watching it right
There
now.
are so many there are so many sci-fis I could bring up. Blake 7.
Okay, I love SG1 because it has the best internal consistency of any sci-fi series I've ever seen.
Ever, and they were still telling jokes in season 9 and 10 that were relevant to season 1 and 2.
Yep.
Oh no, I don't know about internal consistency. Babylon 5 was brilliant. as
Okay,
well.
I didn't see Babylon 5.
Well, Babylon 5, their buildup was unreal. Because if you go back and watch, they were referencing things that they didn't.
But because the whole show was planned, J. Michael
it
Straczynski
was
planned
unreal.
the entire show from beginning to end.
B5's planning, like
B5 is my favorite.
He wouldn't let them start filming until he had all the scripts.
Outside of the Expanse.
They were talking about the shadows in season 1.
Yeah.
You know, B5's awesome.
Yeah.
B5 is definitely awesome.
But that's what I liked about SG1 was that nothing just came out of nowhere. is if they ran into a situation in season 5, it's like, hey, there's this alien tech we picked up in season 2 we can use.
Exactly.
Even
Yeah,
when
there,
it
there
came down
wasn't any
to
of the. They didn't really do too many Deus Ex mechas. Oh, they did in that sense, but it wasn't like, oh, all of a sudden, brand new technology, we're going to stop something from happening, and then when it could be used in the very next episode, for some reason, it doesn't exist anymore.
I'm
Star
late-
Trek does all the fucking time.
You are right
Will.
about SG1 Purple because I mean from the last episode of the first season is when they bring in the Zat Nicotel. They use that weapon all through every
that and the
Did they use it
P90. When they switched to the P90, their two exclusive weapons was the Zach Nicotel and the P90. But I think the P90 didn't come until like season 3.
Did they use the Zat Nicotel in SGU?
You utter nerds.
I have to go back and watch it now.
Yeah, well, that's I still have to see
But
like
still,
the last 2
Black
seasons of
7 is brilliant,
SG1,
isn't
and
it?
Herb, I have them right. I'm looking at them because I'm a geek.
It-
They literally are right over there.
Listen, can I just ask you a favour,
Oh,
Will?
Purple, do you have
If you
Netflix?
don't mind.
Yes.
Will, you gobby
Yeah.
fucker. Listen, stop talking. Right, I'm legally not allowed to look at your big brown sewing circle. So here's the thing.
You couldn't handle my big brown sewing circle. My sewing circle would ruin your life.
Listen, if you're going to do some argumenting things about the old Star Trek A, then count me in and throw me a link because I want to fight.
Yeah,
I'm
this
ready.
Sounds like a good.
Okay, see,
I
now
mean,
you know it.
and the week
No,
after
that's-
that, we're
yeah.
going to do is Disney Star Wars canon.
Oh God! Hey, Jen, can I make a request?
Yeah.
Might want to see if we can get Jared over here too.
Oh, for that one. Oh, we have to have Badger on as well. If we
yeah,
do that.
that's I think we have to have Badger.
We have to have Badger.
Oh,
Yeah,
I do have
like-
one more unrelated thing on this. Purple, I do like your new avatar.
Purple's new avatar is gorgeous.
But thank you.
Okay.
Junie made that for me.
Who
It's
did?
very cool.
Junie.
It is.
Okay.
It is very cool.
So, still, what have you got coming up? Because you're the only one who hasn't had a chance yet.
Well, I never have anything coming up, as you know. Is that a
Yeah, but you know
euphemism?
they've got
I don't-
pills that
I'm
can help
not
that.
sure. But, you were going to go there, but as you always do.
Actually, you
well,
usually have the pills to keep things from coming up.
welcome to Australia land. You know, Australia, Jen, we've been up for like a million hours, so
Yeah.
don't go coming here with all your I'm awake stuff. It doesn't impress us. But what I'm going to do, if I can be asked, I'm going to get my camera sorted because I need to do this for Will because we still need to get we need to do that thing, Will. But when I'm looking like this,
Still,
I'm a bit too white.
You know what's funny? We've been talking about that thing for like a year now, officially.
Do that thing.
It's literally been a year. It's been a year.
You know what? I did something very special for you, Will, the other day.
You
Should
did.
I be jealous?
You did. You did.
No.
No, Stool tags me on Twitter and makes me feel wanted. So thank you, Stool. Thank you. Hold on. Thank you, Stool. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
fuck off with the
Yeah,
bullshit.
I really gotta go. I
We
gotta
rag
shower.
on him a lot.
Bye, Kitty. We
Thank
love
you,
you.
Kitty,
Hi,
for
Kitty.
showing up. Bye.
We rag on him a lot, but Stool's good people.
Absolutely.
I will do it. I did it last night, and I don't do it very often, but I will do it for Will and Jen.
Aw.
Would you like me? Would you like me to do it? No,
Sure. Do it.
I'll get it out. I like it when Will can't hear us. You can just call him a dick, and he's no idea.
I can hear you.
hear you.
I can hear everything you're saying.
Okay,
I'll plug it in my
Stool?
phone.
I don't think you've understood how this works yet. He can mute his mic, but just because you can't hear him doesn't mean he can't hear you.
And I
Oh.
figured out the distance from my microphone from my computer where I don't get a giant echo.
This would be the internet. I've heard about them. They're scary.
Man, these Yeti microphones are clutch because it's noisy as hell in here. I got fans going. I got crickets screaming at each other.
Can you hear
I
your
can actually hear the
now?
crickets.
Yeah, I can actually hear
I
them
can
now.
hear the crickets.
They are so effing annoying. They drive me
But most of the
crazy.
stream we haven't been able to hear them, so that's cool.
Will and Jen.
I hear 'em now.
Australia, Jen and Will, are you ready for this? I did it last night, so it's not a big deal, but I'm going to
I
do
can
it
still
just
hear
for
you.
you
Did it for
too.
Amanda.
Still hear you.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm ready. Let's see it. Oh. Ooh.
Oh, my.
I like it.
Touch it.
That actually looks kind of suave.
It
Stool.
works for you.
It works. So.
I like it.
Oh, fuck you all. I look like a giant light bulb. Fuck off.
We love it.
Vaguely resembles Simon Pegg. Is all I gotta say.
Oh, wow, it does.
Ooh.
Oh.
Simon
Oh, is that-
Pegg.
So if
I'm
you
seriously been looking at his pictures this whole stream. It's like I found Simon Pegg's doppelganger.
Is
There
that a
you go.
thing? I did not know this was a thing. That's weird.
if you're a giant light bulb, do you have the right threads to screw into the fixture behind your door?
Oh, shut up, Purple. It's complicated. It's science, okay?
Okay. I think we've come to the end of this.
What about Nikki? Has Nikki got anything going on?
I've already said what I've got
Nikki's
going
already
on.
done Nikki's.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay, Per. Everybody has sort of done their stuff except me, but my stuff's already been chill because I'll be doing the What the Fuck show on Thursday. There'll probably be another one of these either next weekend or after. Depends on what Will does with Sewing Circle. And at some point I'm going to resurrect Stump Jen because it's always fun to sit down and talk science. And now I'm losing my voice. So thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody here who's been part of today's stream because it's been awesome fun. And we will catch you all on the next one. Bye.
Bye bye, all.
Haters.